Welcome to Hardly Initiated. It is your host, Tysean Jackson, and here with my co-host, Brian Catchins, and we have done it again. We doing it bigger, we doing it better, because we got my boy Stephan Speaks in the building, and we giving you that latest and greatest dating advice for 2024. Let's get it! Welcome to Hardly Initiated. It is your host, Tysean Jackson, my co-host, Brian Catchins.
I can already tell, man. It's going to be a powerful one right here.
You need to watch too.
I discovered porn when I was a child. My mom.
To get that white man's outfit out of him, pursued me, I ran.
It's the brother I want, don't care.
This is dope.
You need to have a threesome. There you go. When you just got in there.
We are live. It is time, baby. Welcome, family. We are here live, Hardly Initiated, Wednesday night, doing it big as per usual.
Very special episode because we got a return guest, and not just any return guest.
Yes,
We talk about the big dog in the game.
With very little introduction needed. Y'all know this brother face. He's been on every major platform. Biggest dog in the game, if
Big
you
facts.
did not know.
Big facts.
It is the Stephan Speaks in the building. Welcome back
Thank you, sir.
to
Glad be
Hardly
back.
Initiated. Your first ever live show.
First ever live, yes.
Last time we seen you, man, was before you got real famous. It was like, I thought you was already famous. Then next thing you know, we see this man all over YouTube on the biggest channels, the biggest platforms. Man, how's that been?
It's been great, man. You know, you just any opportunity to spread the message is a great opportunity and something I always look forward to. So, you know, people reach out and I just say, all right, let's make it happen.
I love it, man.
You know, I mean, after the last episode we've done, if y'all haven't seen, it's actually one of the most popular episodes that we've done. The last time we shot with you, man, that was my first time ever having a full-out conversation with you, and I really had a lot of respect for you after that conversation.
That
Because
was so long ago. I think we was still on the couch then.
man, we was still rocking with the couch back in the day.
Crazy.
Hey, if you was rocking with Hardly Initiated when we was on the couch, drop a meat in the chat right now.
Right.
I just want to see something real quick. I want to see if we got some day ones in here. But I was very impressed because, you know, it's very difficult to be at the level you're at and still kick the game where it's fair to both sides and practical, like things that people can take. You can digest. It makes sense. And obviously, you get a ton of great feedback from it. We got a ton of great feedback from that episode. And it's going to get even better today, guys, because y'all know we only get better. So we very excited. I'm going to get y'all to this episode sponsor so we can get to the game. Let's get to it.
Yo, guys, big shout out to Hardly in Love, our dating cards, guys. Dating cards, I think, have been out since like late January. And the dating card is changing lives. Yeah, it's really changing lives.
It's been late January.
Since late January.
Oh,
so check this
man.
out. Go ahead and pull that up, Lano. Guys, I got a really dope story to share with y'all. And this is the thing. This has come from two of our actual initiates. These are two of our initiates. We got Roland right here. You see in this picture.
That's
and his
the
wife.
OG.
That's the OG. And his wife, Ava, by the way, who actually took that photo. And listen, Roland, Ava, y'all know y'all got to send us the photo together, right?
Facts.
Now, this is the thing. They actually from the UK and just wrote us this email. But this is phenomenal. They've been married for guess how long?
20 years.
That's just disrespect. 45 years.
Wow.
That's like 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 10 marriages all in one. That's crazy,
Incredible.
right? Now let that sink in for a bit because that's almost half a century, guys. Now this is the thing. I really can't imagine taking, really having that level of commitment, which is probably why I'm not in a serious relationship now. But that's why. But that's why we got Stephan on the show to help me to take care of me,
This
make sure I
man
get
is
right.
toxic.
But exactly. But this is the thing, guys. They literally use the Hardly in Love dating cards to take their relationship to the next level. And that just goes to show you it doesn't matter how long you've been in a relationship with somebody. Even if you're in a relationship with yourself, there is no way you know 100% about that person. And there are so many layers that come with personality, that come with somebody who's growing. So if they can do it, if Roland and Ava could do it, and they could take these cards and take them, imagine what you can do. And this is the thing. It's the first of the month.
Yeah.
First of the month, guys. Click the link in the description, in the bio, in the comments, and make sure you get your Hardly in Love decks today.
Let's get to it. Man, first of all, big shout out to y'all. Look, they don't understand. The OGs, they still not really hip to the selfies. You gotta y'all gotta turn the camera around. You don't need it. Look, Y'all can turn the camera around, catch both of y'all in it, and send that to us. I'm going to make sure we highlight that on the very next episode. But very excited that we got the big OG, big bro, Stephan Speaks in the Game. I was talking to him before the show. 15 years in this space, man.
Yeah.
15 years doing anything is an absolutely incredible feat. So first of all, congratulations to
Thank you. Thank you.
for being able to, put out some of the best work in the space for 15 years. And, what I say, I always defend you, bro, in the space, because I would say it's a lot of toxic things happening in the space right now, because what I see is that nowadays, if you not chomping out the ladies, the fellas just call it straight pandering.
Exactly.
Like if you not
gotta
straight
go hard on the women.
if you're not
Yeah,
going
yeah, yeah.
hard on the women, and I think that's just the Kevin Samuels effect, right?
Right.
Where
right.
they want to see you not necessarily just giving some advice.
No, they want to see the ladies get ripped.
They want to see the ladies getting ripped. But when you really listen to the message, and that's what I realized from the conversation we had, it was sound game. Like this is game you would give a guy, a girl, your daughter, your son. It's sound game. What do you say to men that actually think that the message that you have might be considered pandering from what they see of you? What do you think of that?
Well, you know what? I realize a lot of those guys, they haven't healed from certain things. So they want someone that's going to feed their bitterness, feed their resentment, feed their anger towards women, right? There's this book, I wish I remember the name of it, but it's like called the One Sentence Persuasion thing. And one of the rules of it, like any way to get people to be on your side is to throw rocks at their enemies. So when you can identify who your audience's enemy is and then attack, you will gain favor in front of that audience's eyes. And so for me,
That's a good game.
I believe that as people, we go through various cycles. Let's face it, a lot of us men at one point or another may have had a moment or a season where we was like, F these chicks, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
we were just mad, where we were hurt, something just happened, right? And if someone spoke to us at that time, we may be just like those guys who want to be fed that, no, she's horrible, women can't be trusted, whatever. But at some point, you grow out of that. At some point, you realize this ain't going to work for me. You know what I'm saying? So I always view my content as when you're ready for what I have to talk about, you'll get here. If you think this is pandering, if you have an issue with this, you're just not ready to receive it yet. I understand you're at a different season of your life. You need healing. I can't force that upon you. You see what I'm saying? I can't force you to want to look at things from a more positive or optimistic mindset until you get to a place of understanding that what you're doing is not working for you. And a lot of these men, they're going to realize that. And they're going to find themselves then searching for that content that's more reasonable. I would also say that the internet it attracts the most miserable people. All right?
Yeah.
And more specifically, internet comment sections. Of course, not everyone in the comment section is miserable, but this is where people who they're holding on to a lot of bad energy, they have a place to release it, okay? So we sometimes get fooled by our internet comment sections and think that's representative of most people out there. It's not. So as many times as there's a man who thinks my content is pandering, there isn't a week that goes by that I'm not in the gym that a dude is stepping to me saying, yo, I love your work. We need this. You helped me. You helped me through this breakup. You helped me in my relationship. I just got married to my girl. So I have to ignore those who are just, again, unwilling to receive the message and focus on those who do want to receive it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, this thing, Stephan, at the end of the day, people are consuming the toxic content.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely.
Now, whatever package it comes into. So I actually want to read this to you. So shout out to Marie, who's one of our niches who sent us an email. But I'm going to kind of move forward with this. She basically says, let me start off by saying I'm amazed. I came across an interview with Dr. Cindy Trim, who we had on the show. And after asking God the night before, step-by-step ways to restart my life after a huge downfall, I discovered you guys. I love your work. Then she goes on to say this. I lost the love of my life due to the late Kevin Samuels and another podcast he listened to daily for about 1.5 years. And this man literally changed on me. And today he's gone. So my question for you, because she's basically blaming Kevin Samuels for losing love of her life, which
Boy,
is
that's wild.
It's wild. It's wild. But my question to you, because I'm trying to be objective about this, because I've dated some women that they've said things. I'm like, I know exactly who you listening to. You know, where it completely. They not the same person I started off talking to. Like they went and studied this person and they started making a lot of changes. So should a man or a woman who has a significant other that starts to consume this toxic variety of content, should they be looking for an exit strategy, or should they be alarmed to the point where it's some kind of call to basically, is it like an emergency situation that they have to address?
Wait a minute. So ask me that again. So you're saying
so let's say, because I'm assuming she probably thought she was in this situation for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So at the point she sees a man watching Kevin Samuels every day, should she be worried? Like, should she be trying to go to take the fam to therapy? Should she be looking to potentially find a new man? Like, is it an emergency that you should look at?
I'm hesitant to call it an emergency, but I do think it's a red flag that has to be addressed. I do think that she has to consider the fact that it's not Kevin Samuels' fault he switched up on her. Kevin Samuels exposed something in her man that was not resolved. Like, basically, you cannot sway the healthy person. Anyone who's healed, anyone who's gotten to a healthy place, toxic information is not going to now turn them toxic, okay?
Yeah.
Because they've learned how to rise above that. They understand the better path they have to walk. Of course, none of us are perfect. We'll have our moments. We'll make our mistakes. But if the person completely switches up, I would argue that there is something in him that was not resolved, and Kevin Samuels' content accelerated the process of you seeing it. It was going to come out some way, somehow down the line, but it got exposed sooner. So let's just say, for example, even though he was really into her, let's say he had a deeper insecurity within himself that, again, you can't trust women. They're going to turn on you or whatever. And Kevin's content pulled that out of him to where now he's walking in it fully and you see it for what it is. But let's say Kevin's content didn't exist. At some point, that insecurity was going to come out. At some point, he was going to start questioning your whereabouts or what you're doing and thinking you're up to something. Somehow, some way, there was going to be a breakdown. So I think we have to be careful. Like, even with social media, though I do think social media has made things very difficult and contaminated a lot of people's brains, I do feel like, again, it's exposing what has not been resolved within many people. And we have to go to the root of what the issue is. Now, in regards to the question of if you see your man or your partner digesting this content constantly, I do think it's something to have a discussion about. Like, because I don't want to just jump to the negative conclusion that some guys watched, let's say, a Kevin Samuels, but they found it entertaining. They didn't actually like completely buy into it or view women in that way. Like, I know dudes who are very successful with women, love women, and they would still be like, I love watching Kevin Samuels, but they would never actually like embody what he was saying. So I think let's not just jump to the conclusion if we ever see our partner digesting certain content, but let's talk about it and let's see, what is he taking from that content? Why is he so attached to it? Why does he like this person or this content so much? And then let's uncover what are the issues that, because if you would have said, well, yeah, I like it because, I feel like women don't know how to appreciate a man. All right, then let's discuss that. Let's dive deeper into that. Why do you think that's a problem? Do you think I'm not appreciating you? You feel me? Now we can kill that before it becomes a problem. But if we just ignore it, then yeah, it can fester and grow, and then bigger problems are created.
I like that, because that is a conversation. Yeah, I think we should we gonna add the 101 question to the Carly. Carly, love that. Do you watch Kevin Samuels? Be a hell of a conversation.
And I'm gonna say, because he's a good example of somebody who had such a big impact on the space of relationships. And I notice one thing I cannot stand when dating women. You could tell a woman who studies relationship content. Shout out to women who improve in themselves. Shout out to women who's looking for the answers and trying to grow and be better. But y'all got to do a better job just disguising the fact that y'all been taking notes on this content, because there's certain things that I don't like when I experience. I don't like feeling like a woman's tactically operating with me on these strategies she saw in the recent Stephan Speaks video. All right. For example, dating a young lady, and I make a comment, and she's like, "Oh no, Ty, I'll never do that. I gotta stay fit, feminine, and friendly." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus
right.
Christ.
You already know. You already know.
Jesus Christ." So see, even things like that, it's that to me is her really not getting on my best side. Do you feel like this space of love and relationships, although it's helped so many people, do you feel like it's also had a negative impact on some of the our dating world as it is?
Oh, absolutely. It definitely has had a negative impact. Because again, unfortunately, what people have to understand when it comes to the social media space in general, one of the primary objectives is views and clicks.
Yeah.
And people will sacrifice healthy content for views and clicks. And so you have to be mindful that some people come into a space, and I believe this is with everything in life. Like, you can have people, they can go into politics with the genuine desire to fix their city up and have a positive impact. But then that money starts getting offered to them. People start, what do you call it? Lobbying and all these different things.
Oh, yeah.
And or they get dirt on them and now they sway them a different way. A lot of people come in with good intention, but then get corrupted when they get into it. And I think people just have to be mindful. And that's why I'm always like, listen, even with my advice, I try to always tell people, pray about it. Like, don't take what I'm saying or this person's saying or whoever. Take it, pray about it, see what actually is for you and what isn't. Because even those who are well-intentioned can say something wrong, or they were misinformed about something and they regurgitated this information unknowingly, and now they passed on something that was not best for someone. But that was never their intent. They didn't know they were doing that. Now you have other individuals who will just give you nonsense because, again, that's what gets them paid. Right. So it's just, there has been a negative impact. But again, I think that it all starts from it's exposing the reality that the majority of people are not healed. And when you're not healed, you're drawn to the negative content. You are drawn to the unhealthy advice, or you allow that to guide you more. And I would say it's evidence of people not being healed and evidence of people not being in tune with their spirit enough, not being in tune with God enough. Like, at the end of the day, if you had that as your buffer, then you would be able to filter out a lot of this stuff. Because the reality is that even with some of the ones who make negative impacts, it doesn't mean that everything they say is wrong. They'll say some really accurate stuff. Like, there's some people I see and I'm like, man, that was on point. But then they'll follow it up with some nonsense. It's like, why'd you have to say it like that? Or why you messed the whole thing up? But it can be true. And that's the problem. Because there's so much accuracy, it makes someone feel like, all right, well, then they're on point. So why would I ignore the bad piece? Or I don't even realize it's an unhealthy piece of advice, especially if I come from an unhealthy family, an unhealthy background, an unhealthy community. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm thinking all these things are just normal when no, they're a big problem.
Yeah.
So would you agree that it's a wrong way to produce relationship content?
So I'm going to say this. Whatever business field you're in, me as a believer, I believe that, one, you shouldn't be in it unless that's where God wants you to be. All right? And if you're doing things that God doesn't want you to do, then it's wrong. Or in a quote unquote, it's wrong, right? Or at least it's not where it would be best for you to be, both for you and for the people that you're speaking to. Now, I cannot determine who is following God and who isn't. So it's not up for me to say, well, no, this person is on the right path and this person's on the wrong path. Because again, even people on the right path can say the wrong things, all right? No one is perfect. But I think that for individuals, you just want to make sure, what are you doing this for? Like, to me, your true intent has to be purpose and serving the people. How am I helping people? Now, there's nothing wrong with, all right, once I've established those are my goals, how do I properly monetize that? Because at the end of the day, to grow your business, you have to create cash flow. There's no way around that. And I remember like when I was starting off, people would say, well, if you're genuine, you'll do it for free.
Hell nah, we
There's
won't.
no way. Like I remember when I was starting off, I had made a free ebook. And it was still difficult to give away a free ebook because if I post on the internet, I only have so much organic reach. For me to get it to more people, I'm still gonna have to pay for ads or pay for something. Now, if I have to keep paying just to get the message out there, I need to find a way to get the money to come in to keep the whole machine going. So you'll still have to figure out ways to monetize. And I do feel, I feel it's important for me to say this. There's a lot of people who don't understand sometimes that God wants you to profit in your purpose. He's not saying walk in this purpose and be broke and run down because he understands the ramifications of that. If you're not able to take care of yourself, you're going to be more easily swayed from what you're doing. If he can't fortify you financially, this is how, going back to the discussion of the person who goes into politics and comes in with the well-intended, but then ends up, going left in there. Right. Because imagine if you were able to go into it and you had your financial stability, you would be less easily swayed. You see what I'm saying? You would be less easily to be convinced to go to the other side and do things you should not do because you would be strengthened in the fact that, no, I'm doing what God wants me to do and I'm doing well. You feel me? So I think people have to understand. I know for me, it was a battle because I always thought, well, nah, like growing up, we were told money's the root of all evil. Right. So I'm thinking, nah, I'm supposed to be broke and just do what God wants me to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't supposed to work. And literally, when I got into this, people would ask me, like, how much money you want to make? And I'd be like, yo, I'm just doing what God wants me. I have no idea. There's no conception of money here. But for the first 4 years of doing it, I was broke. You know what I'm saying? But even through that, man, I got so many stories. But let's just say I've had many breakdowns, many days where I was in tears ready to give up. Okay? And every time I would pray, like, all right, God, I can't do this anymore. I got to get me a regular job or whatever. And I would hear God say, like, don't go anywhere. And then the next day, no lie, something would happen that would bring me enough money to get to the next month.
Wow.
And it happened like that so many times. And then eventually you'll get to where you need to get to. And even in profiting, there's a process to it. All right? Like, we're not always as ready as we think for certain amounts of money or for certain amounts of success and things of that nature. And God needs to grow you within each level so that you're going to be ready for that next one. You see what I'm saying? If he brings that money too soon, I've seen situations where like a dude's 18 comes into $500,000, blows it in months. You weren't ready. If you were doing it God's way, he would have made sure that 500 ain't come yet. Well, let me not say he made sure, but if you're following his steps, I believe there would be a delay in receiving certain things until you are ready for it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But all that to say, like, yeah, I think you gotta grow the platform, grow the message, get it out to as much people as possible. And so when I think about the whole doing it wrong or the bad, unhealthy advice, I view it this way. And I don't want to sound too churchy or whatever, but I'm just gonna keep it real. I feel like, let's just call it the enemy. He already runs media at an amazing level. Let me not use the word amazing, at an enormous level, okay? And I believe that God has people he's trying to put in place to counter that. People, so as we talk about social media and all these different things are essentially contaminating people's brains and spirits, we need a counter to that. And we need more good, healthy advice as much as possible, more good, healthy message as much as possible to help balance this thing out. Because right now, most people have just access to the negative.
So you know what? And we talked about this a little bit before the show because a lot of times, especially when we hear this black culture, when we talk about the black culture, we say some of these conversations are only being had in our culture. The other cultures aren't having these kinds of conversations. And I think you're a good person to ask this because you've amassed a following of a multicultural following.
And you've been on all the multicultural platforms.
Right.
Yeah.
Audience is everything. So help us out with this. Are the problems in love and relationships that the black culture is seeing, is it unique to us, or are other cultures having those same issues?
Everybody's having the same issues. It's just, listen, I get coaching clients from everywhere. So not just being on platforms. Literally, I just had a coaching session with a woman in South Africa. I've had South Africa. I've had India. I've had Asia, Korea, everywhere.
Wow.
Yes. And I'm telling you,
There's some black people happy about that.
The fact that you're coaching Asians, I don't think that's kind of crazy. It's lit.
Yeah.
it is the same, but of course there are small different nuances here and there. All right. So there are things that you have to account for and have to be mindful of. Like I was speaking to someone, the one who was in India was talking about how like over there, divorce is so frowned upon, and how a lot of people over there, again, I don't know to what magnitude, but she said a lot of people over there, they won't get a divorce, but they'll literally just live separated for the rest of their life and just go on with their relationship with other people. Wow. But on paper, they're still married. And that's how many of them carry on. Like she had recently dated like 3 different guys, and they were all in that situation. And she was in that situation where she was still technically married, but over there, she said it because there's such a negative stigma. Plus, you don't want to hurt like the family, the kids, all these different things. But they will literally live in different households and go about their business.
Crazy.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's like you're going to hear, yes, little small differences here and there, cultural differences, but the underlying issues are pretty much consistent across the board. You know what I'm saying? But again, I think when we say that other people aren't having these discussions, we have to understand how algorithms work, okay?
Right, you don't see.
So exactly.
Right.
I think people forget you could literally be on the internet and right now you could feel like, all right, there's these 3 people that always talk about relationships, right? But what you have no idea is that there's a bunch of others that just never get shown to you who could be huge in the space, but they're not huge to you. You see what I'm saying? And that's in any aspect. Or even like people forget, they think because their community knows about something, or let's say knows this celebrity, they think everyone should know this celebrity. And it's like, yo, there's a whole world out there that has no clue who this individual is. Don't assume that.
Right.
What they're consuming on the internet is not what you consume. And the algorithms will keep feeding you what you like or what they feel you're going to watch. And by nature, we're going to, if we're in the black community, we are naturally going to resonate to black content creators.
Right.
Others typically are going to resonate to their, you know what I'm saying? Wherever culture they're coming from.
Whatever YouTube wants you to resonate.
Exactly. And then there's going to be some people who overlap and have a diverse audience. Like I said, I have an extremely diverse audience. But typically, it's not that the conversations aren't being had. It's just that you're not seeing it. And then some issues may not be discussed on the mainstream, but that doesn't mean it's not happening behind closed doors. You see what I'm saying? So they're still having those same problems.
That makes a lot of sense. Wait,
Okay.
Look, I see you smiling. Yeah, hold on.
The black supremacists are happy about that. they're like, that's good news.
Right.
That's good news. But no, that's a really good breakdown. I appreciate you breaking that down for us.
Big facts. And guys, listen, in honor of Stephan returning, he is going to do us a big favor. This is for the initiates. We are able tonight to give away 4 autographed copies of Stephan's books. Stephan, man, you don't put out so much content. How many books you got now, man?
11?
Wow. He like, damn, John Maxwell over here. Man.
Right, he's working.
He's a published author.
More coming. Much more coming.
Let's do it.
We're doing 2 of each, guys. So I'm going to drop that link in the bio, and the comments, and the description, and everything. So all you got to do is fill out that short form. You are automatically entered once you fill that out, and we will announce the winners at the end of the show. And we are giving away 2 books, or 4 autographed copies, okay? And it's 2 different books we're doing. We're doing 2 and 2. All right, we got He Who Finds a Wife. So that's for the guys.
That's for the men, yeah.
That's for the men.
Oh, yeah.
So 2 men gonna win that tonight. And we got Finding Love After Heartbreak. That's got to be for the ladies.
That's for both. It's for both. It's a unisex book.
We're gonna give it to 2 ladies though.
Two ladies,
We're gonna
okay.
give it to 2
Okay,
ladies.
Okay, good. So all you got to do, fill out that link. Now, I want to go back to this because I don't want to skip over this.
Yeah.
Because Stephan, I think you're right when you talked about that first layer of credibility, what your intent is, right? I think 90%, 99% of people would agree with that. Now, this second layer, it seems to be probably right under that, the most important, what people are considering when evaluating a relationship coach or relationship expert, so to speak. And we have not, it's like 50-50 from all the different guests we've had. It's 50-50 on this. And the concern is a single person able to coach relationships?
Okay. So I'm gonna start with this.
Hold on, he got some hand on his chest. I hope you guys. He took a deep breath before that. We like, Ryan, you gonna be punched you in the face.
I've heard, this. I've heard this discussion since I came into this.
I can imagine,
right? And I remember initially, me myself, like, man, I'm tripping. Like, God can't be telling me to do this. Like, why me? And I remember the woman who does my locks. She said to me something very powerful. She said, "God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the called." So to me, on an individual basis, we have to understand, I just want people to embrace what God is calling them to do first and foremost, regardless of what anyone else thinks you are or are not qualified for. God can use anyone He wants to use. And the crazy thing is, like, people will say that, but then when it's someone that they don't like, now it's, oh no, you're not qualified. No. Who are you to say that? And if you really want to discredit that, how about you go to God and ask God yourself, is this person legit? Like, I think people, I'm going to say this real quick. I'm a firm believer that one of the biggest mistakes that the Pharisees made in the Bible was that they never asked God in prayer if this is your son. They went on their own, what they felt was their own knowledge of how to evaluate if this person was who he said he was. And their knowledge led them down the wrong path. They end up crucifying this man. But had they just simply stopped and prayed and talked to God, they may not have gone down that route. And I think in today's world, we have this bad habit of, if we see certain things we like, we want to defend that this person is now qualified or whatever. And if we see or we hear things we don't like, now we want to attack them. Like another person said, when people don't like the message, they'll attack the messenger. So say something that doesn't sit well with them, and now they want to come at you. And there's different reasons why people will try to downplay someone else. But at the end of the day, if you are a believer, just pray about it. It's that simple before you go attacking anybody. But in regards to just, the whole, if someone's single, we try to make relationships this kind of special topic that it really isn't. At the end of the day, we have to understand that relationships are everywhere. Business relationships, friendships, family relationships, romantic relationships. And the reality is that to be able to help someone with relationships requires your understanding of human beings, requires your understanding of men, your understanding of women, your understanding of how two people are able to coexist in that union, your understanding of the foundational principles that pretty much make every relationship work, okay? So whether you are in one or not does not dictate that knowledge or understanding. Now, granted, people will say, oh, well, experience is the best teacher. Yes, experience is maybe the best teacher. It's not the only teacher. You feel me? So it's like there's so many more ways to gain an understanding that you can then pass on to other individuals. And I love to use this one example of, like, nobody goes to the doctor and says, oh, you can't treat my broken arm because your arm ain't broken. The hell is that? No, of course they can't, because they have gained the knowledge to do so. And even more so, if they've been doing it for a while and they have a track record of helping people and it's been successful, what are we questioning here? So to me, I think it's not about single, married, because even then, some people will say, oh, well, only a married person. Listen, there are millions of married people who cannot give good advice, okay? Right. There are millions of married people who are not successful in their own relationship. Automatically getting married does not now qualify you, so to speak. And then giving advice is so much more than just having the knowledge and the understanding of it. It's understanding how to articulate it, how to relate to people, and which is why I'm a big believer in we should not be discouraging well-intended, purpose-driven people from coming into various spaces, even like relationships, because everyone's here for their audience, so to speak. All right, like I have another quote I always use: when you're walking in purpose, there is no competition. Your lane is yours, their lane is theirs. Yeah. Plain and simple. And so even if I grew my audience to 20 million people. Like I was telling you earlier, just in the US alone, there's still over 300 million people who need to be talked to.
Yeah.
So there's got to be other people. You feel me? So we need as much people as possible. And I think trying to get into trivial stuff like, oh, you're single, you're not single. Listen, to me, it's about, are they giving healthy advice?
Yeah.
Are they actually helping people? If they are, why would I take an issue with that? That doesn't make sense to me. If the goal is to help people, why? And understand that, again, no matter how great I speak, no matter how many people I connect with, there's going to be people who watch me and say, oh, I don't like his locks. I ain't listening to him.
Yep.
Oh, he's black. I ain't listening to him. And that's cool. I don't got a problem with that. So they're going to resonate with somebody else who could be saying the exact same thing as me.
Packaged differently.
Right.
Exactly.
But he got a fade.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
And that's fine. That's fine. As long as you're getting fed somewhere, cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, who cares about that? I just think people worry about it. So to get back to the original question, I do think a single person can give advice. And I think that also people have to understand, because like another thing, a lot of my clients that I've had are actual therapists themselves. Okay. And I remember recently speaking to one and she was like, I don't know why I help so many people, but I can't help myself. And I'm like, listen, this is normal, because though you may possess the knowledge, the wisdom, the understanding, our emotions are very powerful. And once you become emotionally invested, it can blind you from implementing that knowledge, okay? So there's a lot of people who, again, are not best suited to give advice because they have not learned how to manage that aspect of it. And I believe that everyone, to some extent, will have struggles depending on what the situation is and what they're going through, all right? But ultimately, it doesn't, even with her struggling, to implement it for herself, that doesn't mean she is not very good at helping other people with it. She's excellent at what she does. But her being emotionally invested causing her to stumble for her own issues. All right. But I'm not going to disqualify her because of that. You see what I'm saying? So I just think, single, not single, man, just give good, healthy, purposed advice, and I'm all for it.
There you have it.
I like that.
What we got to talk about, Stephan, was what we talked about earlier before the show. You were talking about the young lady that talked about she was dating with intention.
Yeah.
Oh,
man,
my goodness.
it's so crazy. So
the vernacular
yeah
of the space, we going to bring some clarity to it today.
We really do. So this thing, Stephan, I'm dating now.
Okay.
And so
You don't seem too enthused about that.
No. What it is, it's so funny because it's like I'm woke. I'm like real woke.
Okay.
So like I see stuff from a mile away, which kind of, I don't want to say it taints the experience, but it's kind of like I know so much that I can really just over forecast kind of how things gonna be. So it could be somebody that could get a shot, but I'm like, I see these one or two things. I'm like, man, I done talked about that 1,000 times on the show. You not the one, So it is a little tainted. But what I'm seeing as well is that the relationship space is having an impact to the point where if I'm dealing with a woman, I'm communicating what my intentions are or communicating what my desires are out of the relationship or potential relationship, and I ask them, they all say the same thing. Well, I date with intent, right? Now, the thing is, I always ask follow-up questions. Now, the answer to the follow-up question, which is, what does that mean, is always different.
Okay.
It's like, okay, well, she stated she date for intent, but she don't want a man right now, right? She don't want to be married right now. She says she dates for intent, but, she talked about the last dude. It was a casual situation. So it's like, what does dating with intent even mean at this point?
So I think what it truly means first is that you are being intentional about what you specifically want. All right. So there's a lot of people who date and you ask them, okay, what do you want? It's like, I'm just going with the flow. Oh, I'm not sure. Like that, there's nothing intentional about that. So to me, intent just means, all right, I know what I want. I know what I'm trying to do here. And I'm very focused on achieving that. We're not playing any games. There's no gray area. It's very intentional. Okay.
So I could be dating with intention if I intend to bend that ass.
I intend to bend that ass.
Is that dating with intention?
Technically, if we're just going off the word intent, yes, you're being intentional with what you want. Now, I think that when people hear dating with intent, They're thinking more from the serious level, that you are only dating for something serious, okay? And I'm laying it out this way because I think people have to understand people use words differently.
Right.
Okay. And that's why you're going to hear different answers, because they're going to view it from a different lens. So I'm giving you multiple lenses to consider here. And yes, I think that most people, probably people even watching this, when they hear dating with intent, they think, no, someone who is looking to get married, someone who's very serious, is, again, not playing games about this. Let's get right to it. Let's figure out, are we for each other? Are we not? And we keep it moving. You see what I'm saying? So, and I think that whatever it is, I listen, though we can talk about, I would love to see more people get married. It's truly and honestly. But I know everyone's mindset's not there for various reasons. I think at the very least, if we can at least get people to be more clear and honest about their intentions, that at least helps clean a lot of stuff up. A lot of mess occurs because people aren't being real about what they want and what they're trying to accomplish. A lot of people are being deceptive about it, and that to me is problem number one. Because at least if we can all be honest, then people can make a choice. If you are choosing to engage in something casual, I'm not saying that you should. I'm not making it about a right or wrong. I'm saying at least you know what you're getting yourself into, and that's your choice. But to be led to believe that this person wants something serious when they really don't want something serious, that's a problem. That causes too many more issues, and I would love if we could eliminate that at the very least.
Is it okay? So sometimes, because I'm agreeing with what you're saying, sometimes the woman may not communicate that she does want something serious because she's still apprehensive about, the guy and kind of how she feels about the guy. And then, so is that okay? Is that okay for a woman to kind of say, hey, I'm just seeing how things working out. And then a few months later, she's like, hey, no, I wanted something serious.
I think the problem is that's what sets her up for failure. Because what people have to understand is you're looking for the person who's on the same page as you, all right, who can align with you. If you are saying to this man, I'm just trying to figure out what we're doing here. I don't know. We'll see where this goes, whatever. You're going to more likely end up entertaining a dude who may not be serious about you because you're not being clear about your intent. All right. And so now what happens is what I call dating fatigue. You end up dealing with all these dead end situations. And before you know it, you don't want to be bothered anymore. So that even if the right guy came along, you no longer have the energy for it. Or you're so jaded from your past experiences that you can't even honor the good that he has in him. You will look for something to be wrong. All right. But you could save yourself all of that if you just told the dude from the beginning, nah, I want something serious. Because then though there will be some men who will try to, play along just to get what they want to get.
Me too.
Exactly. But let's be real. There's a lot of dudes now, especially in today's world, where if you're that clear with them and they know that's not what they want, they're going to tell you like, nah, that's not what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you can at least weed some out that way.
Right.
And the guy who actually is serious about trying to pursue you for something more in marriage, and you say to him, nah, that's what I want. He's going to be like, all right, cool. I want that too. All right, now we can proceed. So nobody wins if we're fronting about what we want. We just got to be real about it.
Now, see, that's the thing. It's, I think we in a place where a lot of people think they know what they want, or they more so know what they don't want than actually know what they want.
Mm-hmm.
So are you saying, is that a prerequisite? Should you be dating if you don't know exactly that you're ready for marriage? Should you just withhold altogether from putting yourself out there until you know that?
So it's tough because, again, there's what might be best and the reality of how people live in today's world, okay? And not everyone, so for example, not everyone's a believer out there. Not everyone adheres to certain spiritual principles. So for them, we can't give the same kind of guidance, right? So I think that even if you're not ready for marriage, at the very least, just be honest about that. Be real about that. If someone wants to entertain you, despite that, that's between you and that individual. At least you kept it real. You didn't lead nobody on. So be it. You know what I'm saying? I do think though that if ultimately, I do think people have to understand that when we are not dating for marriage, we are inviting other possible nonsense to come into our life in between times that can really derail stuff. So
Guaranteed.
you just got to understand, this is what you walking into a war zone here.
Yeah.
All right. And again, if that's the choice you're going to make as an adult, that is your choice to make. I just want people to, at the very least, be honest, be real. You know what I'm saying? And so, and for some people, listen, there's going to be two people right now who feel like they both don't want marriage. They want companionship. They find comfort within each other. But again, know what you're signing up for and ask yourself, can you really handle this? I think a lot of people aren't honest about their ability to handle casual relationships.
I don't think no one can handle it. I think at a point it just becomes too much. Like you can ignore it for 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year, but you can't really handle it because the thing is the relationship is not advancing. If it's casual, it's not advancing. So as a man specifically, you will never really be able to show up because when things happen, urgent situations, ways to show care, you're always going to prioritize something else over actually showing up. So that's the thing I realized about casual dating. It was literally no way for me to do it without damaging my reputation as well as hurting a woman. Because at some point,
Even if
I'm
you're
going to be
honest.
a fucker. Like I'm going to do that if I'm a casual dating.
Yeah.
Even if you honest, at some point, whether emotions are triggered, it's usually having casual sex gets involved. That literally, I swear, there's an emotion button in the back of that thing. If you go, let me tell you, you go ahead and do it, it's gonna get activated. So rarely, it's almost like having a dead end job. You're in this place where there's no growth. Is what a casual relationship is.
That's simply put, is no growth.
It's a growthless relationship. And there's typically somebody that's going to get the short end of the stick at some point, and rarely is it ever a successful relationship.
And I think what people have to also be honest with themselves about is people are trying to use casual relationships to mask their true desire for something deeper. And the way that you'll know that is the level at which they want to interact with this casual relationship. So my thing is like, if you truly on that casual stuff, then you're not sweating when they call you. You ain't got to talk to them every week. Y'all hit each other when y'all hit each other, and that's it, right? And that can go on for a long time for some people. But you'll see some people say, I want casual, but you behaving like you a girlfriend. You behaving like you a boyfriend. And this level of interaction, one, can create a lot of mixed signals.
Yeah.
All right. And this is what now starts to reel that person in. So it's not even that the button's, deep within. There might be a button there too. But you are now tapping into her emotional needs as well. All right. And this is now making her feel like, okay, maybe there's something there. I think also some people are not being honest about the fact that they're hoping the casual route is just a detour to the serious route.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's like, I'm just going to hang around and I'm going to deal with this level of it. But my real goal and intention was, again, not being real about the intention, is to have something serious and long term. And that can get messy as well. So I think people have to consider at the level in which they're interacting. I even have to throw in, some people even use friendship in that same way. Hell, I got to say, it's kind of hitting my spirit. I have these moments where stuff just hits my spirit. You got mothers using their sons as a pseudo relationship.
Damn.
All right?
Wow.
You got mothers who, her son is her man. And she hides behind that because she doesn't want to put herself out there for a real relationship, or she doesn't trust men at this point anymore. Her son is the only thing she can trust that loves her and she loves. And that's why when another woman comes into their life, she got a problem with it. No matter how nice the woman is, because you taking her man away. So there's a lot of people hiding behind different things, and it all speaks to something that you are not healing from, and that you're not resolving, and that you're not being honest with yourself about. You know what I'm saying? And then we get caught up in these situations that only get crazy from there.
Speaking about the situations where it's a woman kind of hanging around, right, in those type of relationships, and I'm more so not in a relationship, but more so the dating phase, whether it's a text that she's sending a guy every couple of weeks, or she might actually be involved with the guy and she's in a casual situation, or just in a situation where she's pursuing the guy. when should she call it quits?
That's a good question.
So she's pursuing him.
That's what I mean. So even it's just layers, right? It's like, and the way I look at it is like, it's these women that are orbiting around guys. Some of them might actually sleep with them every now and then. Some of them might just be, you know, a check-in phone call every now and then. Some of them is just consistently talking to themselves in that person's DM, right? So at what point is enough, and they should stop using that energy to pursue that specific man and move the energy somewhere else?
If he's not returning that energy, why are you still there? But I think it starts with, again, we got to learn just to have a conversation. I think so many things can be solved and properly addressed if we just talked about it. Like, yo, if you hitting this man up and you're not getting that energy back from him, bring it up. Bring it up in conversation. You know what I'm saying? And then if it's addressed and then it's not corrected after that, let him go. Clearly, he's not serious. He's not that interested. There's no point for you to keep hanging around. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to also address from the flip side, because I've come across so many situations. I'm going to give one recent one. And this is a grown woman now, where she was dating a man. They weren't official, right? So they were in this kind of gray area, dating, casual, but boyfriend, girlfriend-ish, whatever. And let's say for the past 5 months, like they see each other all the time. He's always initiating. He's a very successful man, travels a lot, all this stuff. And then by month 5, she said like he started acting different, and she hasn't heard from him for the past 5 days. And usually she would hear from him every single day, texting, whatever. And, you know, there's this very natural inclination to assume, well, this man's either playing games or he's not serious or he found someone else. And I asked her, because I know better at this point, I said, let me ask you, all these times that y'all were communicating, does he reach out to you or do you reach out to him? Or is it kind of both? He said, oh, no, he's the one reaching out all the time. I don't ever call him. I said, so, and then there's other stories within this whole thing that add up to what I'm about to say. I said, listen, how do you know that man ain't falling back? Because you ain't been reciprocating. Why do you assume that he's supposed to pursue you no matter what without you showing up a certain kind of way for him? And why do you think that maybe he doesn't have concerns himself, that maybe you're playing him? Maybe you're not serious, that maybe you have someone else. You coming to me talking about, no, he has some, no, he might be worried about you. And if you would just call him, which you're not even usually do, you don't ever do. So you can't call him one time to talk about this. And I had to like, listen, I need you to call him, and I told her what to do, and boom, 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 laid it out for her. But it's like a lot of times, a lot of women, because they have walls up, don't realize they are not reciprocating in the process of getting to know each other and trying to build a relationship. And they overlook the fact that a guy who is being serious and has genuine feelings is more likely to fall off than the dude who just wants to sleep with you. Because the dude doesn't want to sleep with you, he don't care about any resistance or what he has to do. He has his goal.
It's just a numbers game.
Exactly.
Right.
He's just trying to work you over, work you down to where he can get it, and that's it. But the guy who actually likes you and you're not hitting him back right away, or you're not communicating with him the way he communicates with you, at some point he's going to be like, dang, you know what? Especially if he's a desirable guy who has other women who is showing him that energy.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, I might as well just give my time to this other one instead of this woman who doesn't seem to like me as much as I like her.
You know, that's very interesting, because me personally, I typically only, you know, give my attention to women who are showing high interest, just in general.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy.
Like
I mean, I really do.
like if you're not showing high interest,
Yeah.
I will not put myself in a position to be that guy.
Yeah, you got to be excited when I call.
Oh, I love
You
that.
got to be ready to see me. You got to
love
hit
that.
me up after we hang out, like, and let me,
Yeah.
like, yo, I had a great time. Can't wait to see you again. Because if it's not that, then yeah, I just
I feel like would you do me a favor?
Yeah, exactly.
But here's what's crazy. Y'all could be dating women who feel that way, but they're so afraid to show it.
Right.
You know
And
what?
That's
right.
the problem. That's the disconnect. Like, even in life, like, I've had so many situations where I've been at a party or an event or whatever, see a woman, and she ain't paying me no mind. to find out later that she was sweating me so hard and wanted and all this stuff. This used to happen to me in college too, all the time. And I'm like, and I learned from back then, like a woman could be into you, but show nothing. All right. And again, they have their fears, they have their concerns. They also have the advice that's telling them, oh no, you need to make him chase you. You need to make him do this, boom, 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 boom. Or you're going to seem thirsty, and it's contaminating their minds as far as how they should show up. And so you have and that's why some of them end up being so frustrated, because like they really like this guy, but they don't realize you're not allowing yourself to express desire and interest in a way that makes him feel like, damn, I want to be here.
I think that's a huge problem. And I understand the sentiment from a woman, especially one that's been hurt in the past, because if it's very risky, because a woman could start expressing those things. And if it's a guy that's not, not dating with intent, then he can really take advantage of that. So is there like some kind of balance a woman can have, or something she can look out for so that wouldn't happen?
So to me, the whole taking advantage, it's like they can only do what you allow. And we have to be real about when they've tricked us versus we allow ourselves to fall for it.
Yep.
Okay? So it's almost like if you let someone know that you make a lot of money, and there's people who say, well, don't tell anybody because they'll take advantage of you. All right, when that joker go ask you for some money, you still have a choice to say no.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And you know if they're trying to now take advantage of the fact that because now they have the information that you have this money. You don't have to go along with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've had women say to me, oh, well, I don't want to flirt or show interest because a man will think I just want to sleep with him. And I'm like, yeah, but you do realize when he attempts to sleep with you, you can decline. Like, you don't have to do it. And so we can clear up the fact that that wasn't what you were trying to convey to him. There is a way around that. I think so people have to be mindful that you don't have to be so scared to express and show interest in all these things, because you can still navigate through someone trying to then take advantage. I also think for a woman, listen, I'm a firm believer in women's intuition. I just feel like women know, they just struggle to embrace what they know. All right? They struggle to embrace what their spirit is telling them, and they rationalize past it. And I think if they would just practice becoming more comfortable and in tune with it and embracing it, they could avoid a lot of situations where they feel like they were taken advantage of. Now, of course, I'm not going to say there's no one who can move past that. No one's ever been tricked. But I think for the majority of people, you don't have to worry about that. And I think what I want women to do is start to look at the ability to show interest and vulnerability as essentially a weapon for them. Because in doing that, you can expose the dude faster. See, they're so worried about the man who will take advantage, they're not looking at the bright side of, no, if you show interest and desire and he can't return that energy, we already know he's not it. You feel me?
Right.
Like that, it's not going to work here. And if you show interest and desire and you see he's trying to take advantage, he's exposing his own character. You feel me?
Right.
Like, you will see more. You don't expose darkness with more darkness. You expose it with light. So the more open, vulnerable, loving you are, the more you can see quicker who you're dealing with.
Stephan, so man, you just said a lot. And I'm looking at the comments too, which I'm a little upset about.
Oh, by the way, it's about that time too, by the way.
man.
So just drop that link, guys, because look, initiation hotline is here. We're going to drop the link.
And he
We're
has
gonna bring
never
y'all-
been live. Never, ever. This is the first time he has been live on YouTube. So this is huge. This is momentous for the YouTube right now.
This is big, y'all. Y'all usually got to click the link in that bio and pay him some money to talk to him. But y'all about to come on here. We're going to have a conversation tonight, and we talking dating in here tonight.
Right.
So all I need is you to come up on here, tell me your age, your name, and your question.
And still send the money, okay? Still send the money. Now, this is the thing, because we're talking about women showing vulnerability. Now, Tysean mentioned high interest, which is also in my vocabulary. Because, and I tell Delano all the time, like, yo, if she's not clearly interested in you, it just don't even make no sense to pursue. Now, some of the responses, I'm going to highlight these. We got, it is thirsty, okay? Sounds like seeking validation. It's a good one. y'all want puppies. Yo, can we get a barking sound? Can we get a barking sound? Who let the dogs out? Y'all want puppies. Y'all are thirsty. And then Nina J comes in. I like men who just go after what they want. So this is a thing, and this is for you, Tysean, and so we can and both you guys, we can bring some clarity to this.
Yeah.
What is high interest? Okay, and why? Matter of fact, and would you agree that most men want high interest? Once he explains it, would you agree that most men want that? And why do men want that?
So high interest is different in different environments, right? So if I'm in person with a woman, literally, right? It's this one of the coolest things that a woman can do is literally look at you and smile.
Like she's just happy to be here.
Like that's just like you don't understand how warm a smile is. Do you realize that most of the world is head down in their phone?
Yeah.
And typically that is now what a lot of ladies do to protect themselves. Shout out to my ladies in relationships with the head down in the phone. Shout out to y'all avoiding that evil eye contact from them brothers. But in general, when a woman just looks at me and gives me a smile, that is already, to me, especially somebody who's out there dating and wanting to meet women, that's an invitation. That's something that's warm and letting me know that you are somebody that I'm open to speaking to. And when I walk up to you, you giving me some great energy. That literally, this is what I mean. Now, further than that, when I'm actually engaging with you, I notice that you're really making time. You're serious about making time for that date. You're not pushing me out 2 weeks from now with this calendar. I see we really working to do something here. We on the date. You on time. Your energy's good. You're excited, right? You texting and checking up on me. It's this level of care and cooperation that comes with a woman that has high interest that just feels great. When you're dealing with a woman that has low interest, you're going to notice her energy is in a certain way. You're not the priority. A lot of things are way more. If it's a date coming up, listen, you might get 2 weeks from now. It's just this level of priority that you fall well below.
Because the reality is we get the toughness from everybody else. Like, who is smiling at us? Who is telling us thank you? Who is telling us I'm glad you're here? Who is telling us, hey, I'm happy that you spent time with me today? We don't even hear that. So when we have a woman, the person that we really are committing to being in our care, that's the thing. I think women forget about that. Like, you go over this dude's house, you go out with this dude, you spending time with this dude, you are in his care, especially if you got a dude that's doing you right. So we just like to have this level of appreciation shown that we don't get anywhere else. And it just makes things so much clearer and easier for us when we get that kind of interest.
No, absolutely. There was actually a book that surveyed men and women after getting their marriage license. And literally, walking out the building, they would ask them all these different questions. And one of the questions was, why did you marry this woman? And one of the top answers, it might have been the top answer they received from men was, because she liked me. Wow. And I think women don't understand the power of a man feeling desired and wanted by a woman, and more specifically by a woman that he's attracted to, that he desires as well. Because men are more accustomed to having to pursue and go after it, receiving that energy back is just really powerful. And men, let's keep it real, men are suckers to it. Suckers to the point where, like, I make this analogy in one of my books about, it, you know, if you were to ever go to a strip club, all right, and you pay attention, and I'm gonna be real, like, throughout my life, I've known women who used to strip and all these things. I've had friends and acquaintances from all different backgrounds, and they will like I've seen it for myself where they can sit down next to a dude, not even have to dance, get paid the whole night. Because they know how to talk to him and make him feel wanted. Mm-hmm. They are professionals in making that man feel desired. So that man could walk into that strip club, tell himself, I'm not going to spend more than X amount of dollars. I'm only going to stay there for this amount of time. And before you know it, get lost in the moment.
That's what I call
feeling desired.
I call that the girlfriend experience.
Yeah.
And hey, look,
that happened
sometimes
to me in strip club one time.
Yeah, you happy to pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's a very, very powerful thing for women to feel for a man to feel desired. And so, yeah, I do think that that's what most men want. You know what I'm saying? And I think for the women who say, oh, y'all want puppies and this like that, everybody wants to feel desired. And I think some women have to be real with themselves. Your struggle, sometimes a woman's struggle to do that is because of fear, the fear of being vulnerable, wall up, being taken advantage of, all these things. And then sometimes it's because you're not really into that man like that. You entertaining him for various reasons. You might find him good enough to be with right now, but you're not really into him, so you don't have that to give him. Because
Exactly.
I've seen women in various ways be very nonchalant with a lot of men. But then there's this one specific man, and she don't even know how to contain herself. You know what I'm saying? And this is really to both men and women. That I know men who could literally be in these streets running through women and then meet that one woman and is like, this is it.
Yeah.
And the way he shows up for her looks nothing like how he handles the rest of the women. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like sometimes we got to be real. Is it that you're not capable, or is it that you're not dealing with someone that you're really into? But understand that we both, as men and women, have to make our partners feel desired. That's important. That's gonna strengthen that relationship.
So I want to bring some callers up. Right. I want to bring some callers up, but I think that's another thing that we need to go over before we get out of here.
What's
Is
that?
how a woman should express desire. Because I think a lot of women are doing it the wrong way.
Absolutely, man.
But
That's a good one. That's a
yeah.
good one.
Well, let's take these callers up.
We're gonna bring them up right here. We got Sequoia coming up to the stage. What up with you, Sequoia? I think she's muted. You gotta unmute, Sequoia.
Sequoia, let's get it.
You gotta
She got
unmute.
that sexy red color going on.
What's up with you? What's up with you, Sequoia? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am blessed.
All right.
So if you can, go ahead and give me your age, your location, and your question.
I'm 33. I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana. And my question
Hold
is,
on 1 second, Sequoia. Do you hear an echo when you speak?
kind of,
Okay, good. Go ahead. I want to make sure the sound is good, but go ahead. Give me a
okay.
question.
How do you emotionally divest from a person without berating or degrading them?
Okay.
Emotionally divest.
Yes.
Without degrading them.
Yes. Like without being rude, like without talking bad about them, without talking down about them.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I thought I see me, Stephan. I thought that just came with the package. Once the woman done with you, I thought that's just what it was. She gonna dog you out. She done. But what's the answer to that one?
So, one, in order to heal, we don't heal by suppressing, we heal by releasing. So if you have a lot of negative emotions and feelings towards this individual, then I do suggest getting it out of your system. Now, we can get it out through writing a letter, which I think is one of the best ways to do it. And that way, it's kind of like an emotional detox where you can sit down and just let all the raw emotion out, let it out, boom, express it. And I'm telling you, once you do that, you're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel a lot better. And you will feel less of the need to then express these things in normal conversations with individuals, right? I think also, if when possible, there are things that can be resolved or discussed with that individual, let's do that. Like, we can divest by addressing the situation the way it needs to be addressed, having an honest conversation with them about why we're breaking free. Again, when that's applicable, because sometimes that's not. And I think in finding some peace there, that will also help in avoiding it from becoming messy and us, again, bad-mouthing them. But I think the main thing is and I think just in general, healing. So though the letter is going to help with getting a lot of raw emotion out, right? Detoxing emotionally. The reality is that a lot of what we struggle with in a current situation is a combination of past issues that have not been resolved, and it's all piling up.
Right.
So like, you ever see someone, they have this outburst at their partner, and it's not really about what happened at that moment. It's everything that led up to it that they just been suppressing, and now it's all coming out. So when we want to heal, we have to make sure we heal from everything in our past. And we have to address all our past hurts, all our disappointments, because in doing that process, one, we'll release these things from our spirit and we're going to feel so much better. Two, we will learn how to view things in a different light. And that will allow us to no longer internalize, because one of the reasons why we're so angry is we take it personal. We internalize these things. But we have to understand, it's that whole saying, hurt people hurt people. And a
Right.
lot of the things that has happened to us is due to the fact that this person had their own issues they hadn't resolved. It doesn't make what they did okay, it doesn't make it acceptable in any kind of way, but we don't need to take it personal because it's a symptom of something deeper within them. And we have to learn how to break that cycle. So to me, the healing is the main thing, but at the very least, writing that letter and getting everything out will be helpful.
Sequoia, you gonna get that pen ready?
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
Thank you,
I'm
Sequoia.
curious though, Sequoia. What's the deal? Like, why you wanna emotionally divest from the former relationship?
So you can move on to the next one. I think that it's important to release yourself from your past. And I don't feel like you can do that without emotionally releasing, because I feel like people end up um, getting emotionally attached to people before they get physically attached anyway. So I think that's an important thing to do, especially when you really want to move on from a person. So that's where I'm at.
Makes sense. Sequoia sounds like a smart woman.
Thank you, Sequoia.
Thanks for calling in.
Shout out to Sequoia.
Shout out real quick before you bring somebody else. Shout out to Lisa McKinnis, who's going crazy today. Member for 9 months. She actually sent over a couple of super chats. Let me read this one real quick. She says, "Hi guys, please ask Stephan, does he think implementing the Harley initiated cars is a great way to ask the kind of questions he's asking?" Lisa, listen, you are not on payroll, but you are getting ready to be added tonight.
Stephan, what do you think, Stephan?
Do these things really work?
So okay, listen, I have to be honest. I've never actually read through the cards, so I can't.
Man. He's already starting off wrong here.
I can't just lie. But I believe in these brothers, and they're well intentioned, and so I support it and co-sign it. But I can't say for sure what's in it. So yeah,
That makes sense.
There we go.
But from a general perspective, do you think that you can actually reach a level of depth if you play, some sort of game or tool to kind of help you bring that out of a person?
I think anything that creates conversation and allows us to go deeper with each other is a positive. So I do think from that perspective, it's going to be helpful because some people, it's a way to lighten up the mood while still getting to dive deeper into each other and investigate some things. So I would support it.
There you go.
Absolutely. Clip that up. Taking that one straight to the bank.
Right.
What else you got, Ty?
Next
What you
ad.
got? Right.
All right. So, guys, for everybody backstage, because backstage is blowing up, I need you to have your cameras on, have some decent lighting so we can see you. All right, we're going to bring you guys up. I got Ariel back here being patient. Ariel, what's up with your sister?
Hi, can you guys hear me good?
We sure can.
Okay.
What's up, Amy? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We
I'm
doing
good,
awesome.
Ariel. Do me a favor. Give me your age, location, then your question, okay?
Okay, I'm 25 and I'm in Michigan. You want the city or just the state?
Yeah, where you at? You in Detroit?
Lansing. No, Lansing. It's by Detroit. Everybody always say Detroit, but yeah.
Shout out to Lansing. Okay,
Mhm.
cool. What's your question?
Okay, so I have children. So I was kind of looking for more of a like long distance thing for now. And my question is, I don't know when to apply more pressure. Like, I don't want to seem like thirsty or like, because I was messaging somebody and then they stopped the messaging. And I don't know if I'm supposed to, like, if it's because of I was kind of dry, if I should try again. Like, I don't know when to like apply pressure, like how you were saying, it's like the female, sometimes they don't know where you're at. So I just don't know when to and when to not, because I don't want to come off thirsty.
So I think we have to don't look at it as applying pressure. Look at it as gaining clarity.
Mhm.
And it's always a good time to gain clarity when you're lacking it. So if right now you're not sure where things stand and if there's any interest, I really think if we would learn to be more direct in moments like this and just find out, hey, are you interested? Boom, boom, boom. It can eliminate the whole analyzing and dwelling and thinking and wondering. And that in itself is exhausting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And just asking the question, though it may lead to an answer we don't like, at least it can give us the clarity that we need to know if we should move forward or completely let go. So I
Yeah.
think just addressing it head on is the best way to do it because, yes, I do think that women don't realize y'all are not the greatest at dropping hints. Y'all may think y'all hints are clear. To us, they're not. Okay.
Mhm.
So he may not understand if she's genuinely interested like that. And so I think in being more direct, it'll be helpful. I also want to add, this is kind of separate from her question, but it kind of plays into it. The whole with the comments saying that we want puppies and all these different things, and or one person said
Right.
they want a man that goes after what he wants. I do think women have to consider there's levels to this in regards to what is the age of the man and what he has going on in his life.
Oh, what does that mean?
Meaning, when we were all younger, high school, college, we had more time and energy we saw a woman we wanted and we went after it. All right. And I think women become accustomed to that level of pursuit from men, but they don't understand that as we get older, if he has stuff going on for himself, he's a lot busier. And let's face it, he's also been through enough situations to where he don't want to waste his time neither. He's going to be less willing to be doing all this extra stuff if he's not getting any reciprocation from the woman. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that sometimes, yeah, if he's younger, like I always say, ain't nobody got more time than a broke man with no job.
That's a fact.
Like, this dude can call you all the time, hit you up, all this stuff. You cannot expect that same level of pursuit from a guy who is busy, successful, has stuff going on, trap, whatever. It's going to be different. Doesn't mean he can't pursue. Doesn't mean he can't show up a certain kind of way, but understand there's a difference there. And so I do think the age and what he has going on has to be considered in different situations.
100% fact. But I like what you stated there for her, is to shift her mindset about that. It's not applying pressure. It's about
gaining clarity.
That's genius.
It's like everybody just trying to be so cool. You know, like like dating now is like when you're in the club and everybody just on the wall, like like don't nobody want to dance. Everybody just kind of stand around like. That's day now. I ain't about to text her now. I ain't know.
Yeah, nobody wants to make
I ain't walking over
move.
there. I ain't about to be on the dance floor. Hell no. I'm about to be over this wall.
Right.
That's dating.
The ladies
right now.
The guys are avoiding simping, and the ladies are avoiding being thirsty. It's like everybody is so scared.
And you know, I'm honestly so sick of the whole simping thing.
Right.
I just think that's a misused term by so many people. Like, I thought simping was about dudes who will go out their way to do stuff just to impress a woman and gain her validation. Okay,
that's what I thought it should. That's what it should be.
But then it's like, I see a dude buy his girl something nice. Oh, he's simping. Like, damn, he can't buy his woman something nice. Are y'all serious?
Chivalry is simping now.
Exactly.
You opening car doors?
Yeah,
simping. Yeah.
That's like, come on, man. Like, and I think what I want to say this before I get to the next question. People have to not get caught up in these different labels and all this stuff on the internet and decide, how do you want to live your life? Like, at the end of the day, I don't care if millions of men want to call me a simp, if I want to pay bills or buy my girl this or buy, I don't care. That's the life I want to live.
Yeah.
Y'all want to do it a different way? Do that. But understand there's a trade-off for everything. So you don't want to engage in certain behaviors? All right, cool. Then don't expect the relationship that I will get from a woman if you're not willing to do the same things.
Right.
That's it. But I'm not going to care what you're going to call it. So I think a lot of dudes don't get caught up in this whole being worried about being called a simp and all that. As long as you're doing it because that's who you are. So I agree with the idea of you should not be compromising who you are as a man trying to impress a woman. You should not be someone that you're not. I will never co-sign that. But if you're being true to who you are, man, forget what them dudes got to say about it.
Take care of your lady.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And there you have it, Ariel. That was a great question. You good?
Yeah, I am. Thank you. I just didn't. Yeah, I thought that men didn't like all that. They don't want you messaging them 2 times. Like,
Listen,
so I'm just changing my perspective of it.
And understand, how people receive our actions is highly based off of how interested they are in you.
Right.
So look at it from the flip side. I always use this analogy where a woman can get DM'd by 10 different dudes and they all say, "Hey, beautiful." And if she don't like them dudes, it's all they thirsty. What's wrong with them? They get on my nerves. Guy number 11 could say, "Hey, beautiful." But if she likes him, it's, "Oh my gosh, I am flattered."
Right.
That's so sweet. How she views it will be based on how interested she is. So when we say guys don't like to be messaged or whatever, ain't no man I know who's been messaged by a woman that he actually is interested in is not excited about that.
They very excited.
Yeah.
Sure.
Everybody getting mad at that if there's actual interest. But if there's not, then yeah, it's like, damn, why this chick is DMing me?
But you got to be okay with that too. That's the thing. You got to be okay
I'm
with
not
that.
okay with that, but I'll learn.
No, listen, that's the thing. You know, connection is so difficult to find. And the thing is, a rejection is just a part of that. So
That's
you
true.
have to be open to rejection for you to weed through, the guys that you need to get to the one you want.
Rejection is just God's redirection to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
hmm
There you have it. Thank you, Ariel. You be blessed, okay?
Thank you. Thanks,
Check on
guys.
that brother.
Shout out, right. Shout out to her. Shout out to Brittany Miner, has become a member, an official initiate, which is dope. Shout out to Imani Duvernay, says, would love to call in the show. I am 27 on the verge of separation. Love the show. Imani, where are you?
So the link, guys, the link here is in the chat. So if you want to join, hit the link in the chat. Y'all don't have y'all cameras on. I promise y'all will not come up. In fact, I'm moving y'all out of here if you ain't got your cameras on, because you don't take instruction. Right? You don't take instruction.
Right.
Right.
That's the first thing that's keeping you single. So.
Red flag.
Right. First red flag.
Your camera's not on. All right, so I'm about to go ahead and bring up. I got Lady P backstage. What's up with you, Lady P?
First thing is keeping you safe. What's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you got to turn the show on.
Turn the show off, Lady P. Lady P, get it popping.
Lady P, you gotta get. Look, let's see that. Y'all gotta be
she
ready.
ready. She ready. Bring her back up real quick.
Okay, hold on.
Let's get Lady P. Lady P.
Lady P, Ryan saved you.
Yeah. What's your age, your location, and what's your question for us?
I am 39 and I'm in the Caribbean. I'm in Antigua.
Oh, you in Antigua right now? Well, hold on, wait, Lady P, I need you to mute the show in the back. Though. I can hear the show in the back. Mute the show in the back.
Oh, sorry, hold on, give me a second. Is that better?
We ready for you.
There you go.
That's awesome.
So, wait, you in Antigua right now?
Yeah, that's where I live.
Big shout
I
out
was
to
born
Antigua.
there. Caribbean is my blood.
I love it. I love it. So look, we're about to see what's going on with these mans over there in Antigua. This is our first one.
Okay, so I'm currently actually in a relationship right now. It's actually the best relationship I've ever been in.
Wow.
Because the ones I with before, can I say assholes? Because that's how I felt.
You can say that.
Okay.
It was like relationship after relationship. I got tired to the point where I said, okay, no, God, I'm done. I give up. All right. If you send somebody, we send somebody. If you don't, just don't. And after I said that prayer to God, I literally just started praising and just started worshiping God. And after, like 2 weeks after, I found my guy I'm in right now. The relationship I'm in, that's 2 weeks after.
Congratulations, Lady P. So what's your question about the brother?
Okay, I want Stephan. I follow him on Facebook and on YouTube. I want him to explain that thing he did on the video. It says 7 ways do you know your guy really loves you? I think that's what it was. I wanted to explain that.
Hold on, wait. So now you found the perfect guy. Now you questioning his love?
Exactly. That's how
hold on, wait.
No, I'm not questioning his love. Sometimes he says like, okay, he wants to get married, but then he's like, just wait, hold on. So I want to know if he's just saying, wait, hold on, if he doesn't really want to get married, or if he just really want to get himself together first. Sometimes I question that. That's the only thing I question.
Unpack this one.
So, one, if he's saying he wants to get himself together first, right?
Yes.
The question should be, what does that look like? Like, what is getting himself
in terms of finance, like money-wise?
Money-wise. Okay, so now that we know that it's money-wise, is there validity to his concern? Like, from your perspective, does this man need a little bit more financial stability before you guys can truly be in a committed marriage together?
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay.
But it's actually getting better, though. It's actually getting better.
Okay.
It actually is.
So what I'm getting at is if we can confirm, as you have, that this man does need some more financial stability, then there's no reason to question or doubt that he's not being genuine about that, especially because he's actually working on it and it's been getting better. See, if he was saying that, but he was doing nothing about it, then I would lean more towards this is scapegoating, he's not serious, or at least there's a greater chance of it. But the fact that it's a real issue that exists, he actually is working on it, and it's actually getting better, then I think that it's if he's been nothing but a good man to you, then there's reason to give him benefit of the doubt. Now, I will have to say this. I'm not trying to burst no bubbles. I just have to tell you this, though. you still got to go, like, even though you prayed and you like, God, send me a man, and boom, 2 weeks or whatever later, he came. You got to go back and say, God, is this the man you sent? Because I always say,
Yeah, I get
people,
that. I get what you're saying completely.
the devil can throw up billboards too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
the devil knows you praying for.
Well,
Now, I'm not saying he isn't the right man for you or nothing. I'm just saying, make sure we have a bad habit of asking God for it, but then we don't ask God to confirm it. We don't ask God how to navigate through it. And so even now, your fears of, is this man genuine or serious? I think you need to pray about that as well, as far as, all right, do I need to just work with this man, stay calm? Because are
I-
those fears coming because he's giving you something to question, or are those fears coming because of unresolved past experiences that are now creeping?
unresolved in me.
There we
In me.
go. There we
I'm
go.
working on myself as well because financially I'm not there yet, but I'm building on it because I'm doing classes, so I'm working on myself as well, not just him.
Well, but listen, the financially is great, but we want to make sure the emotional and spiritual side is what's being properly handled.
I
Yeah, you
have
see,
dealt
that's
with
tough.
like depression and like low self-esteem my entire life.
Okay.
I'm better at it where 'cause before I used to look in the mirror literally and I used to call myself ugly every single day. I'm way better now than that. I don't do that anymore. I'm way better at it, but I still have to work on myself.
You
But
see,
I'm
and
better than how I used to be.
here's one reason why we got to address that and make that your focus right now, is because even if he married you next week and the finances were good, those deeper insecurities will start to show itself, and it will have you start to question this man and have you start to create conflict, because now you're just not at rest, you're not at peace from within, and that can throw everything off. So you have
Okay.
something potentially great in front of you. It's time to now make sure that you are where you need to be emotionally and spiritually. So I highly encourage you to focus on the healing part and the self-esteem part. And that, if anything, it's either going to strengthen the relationship or it's going to expose something else that we're not looking at right now.
Wow.
Okay.
Lady P, first of all, thank you for
Lady
coming up on here and
P.
being real and
I
being
just want to say, Stephan, I love your videos. You're
Oh, thank you
such
very
an
much.
inspiration. Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that.
excellent. Well, the first thing you need to do in showing love is saying his name right. All right, Stephan. All right, but listen, Lady P,
Sorry.
here's what I want to tell you though. No, I'm serious, because what you just said, I think a lot of women may not be brave enough to come up on here and say that on this platform, but you just actually freed a lot of people by actually saying that and allowing them to get that game. So thank you for being honest on here, okay?
Okay.
Much love to you.
Yeah, that was the good. That was good.
You know, self-esteem influences so much of a relationship.
Absolutely.
And it can have a woman specifically. Well, actually, the thing about the self-esteem, both the women and the men could potentially increase their likelihood of becoming victimized, because it's predators out there in the marketplace, the dating marketplace. And it's certain things that both men and women can do to really paint themselves as this desperate person that could potentially be taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
Are there specific, let's focus on the women for this one.
Mm-hmm.
What are the specific things that a woman might do, okay, when she is in that place of low self-esteem and is really reeking of desperateness?
Well, I think one, entertaining a guy who's not truly showing up the way that he needs to show up for her. Because again, some women are questioning if they even deserve better. You know what I'm saying? Or can they even get better? And this is what's going on in their minds because of that lack of self-esteem that they have. As well as, I do have to say, there is a such thing as overly pursuing a man. Right? Like, I'm all for reciprocation. I'm all for showing up and bringing the energy that he's bringing, but I'm not for a woman chasing after no dude. And if you are doing that, there's a very good chance that you are operating out of some either lower self-esteem or something else that you're overlooking that needs to be addressed. You shouldn't be chasing after anybody. I always say, God, what's there's a quote I always use. You don't have to chase what God sent. All right. God never wanted us to be chasing after anything. Because think about when you're chasing, you create tunnel vision and you're not seeing everything else that's going on because you're so locked into your target. And when that happens, you miss a lot of things that are going to come back and be really problematic for you or create new issues into your life. So I think that's another issue to be concerned with or to look at. I also just think, I think with the whole desperation thing, I have to say this, like some guys can smell desperation on a woman.
Oh yeah.
All right. And sometimes it's because they can tell you're not used to getting anything good or you don't have much options here. So I know I'm the best option you got before you even told me your past stories. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just in how you show up as a woman. Are you showing up as a confident, positive, loving woman? You know what I'm saying? Because women who show up with that great energy, no one's going to assume, even if, because there's sometimes you can have a woman that's real bubbly, but behind closed doors, she's struggling.
She right.
Right. But you don't assume that about her. You don't smell that on her, so to speak. But when she doesn't come with that energy, it's easier for some of these guys who are, again, looking for someone to take advantage of to be like, oh, okay. And I would even argue one of the things that women overlook that make them a target for guys who want to take advantage is when you come off emotionally detached.
Oh, yeah.
That is like a huge deal. So I've had women say to me, oh, why do I always only get approached by married men or men in relationships? And don't get me wrong, there's various reasons why. And I'm not blaming the woman. I'm just telling her what happens. And that's because you come off emotionally detached. And to the dude who's in a relationship, he don't want a woman that's all in her feelings, that shows up a certain kind of way. He wants someone that comes across almost like a dude.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because to him, you can play your position. Exactly. You're going to accept what he brings to you. That's it. And so many don't realize it goes back to what we said about that fear of being vulnerable and open. They're so worried about being taken advantage of, but they don't realize they're opening themselves up to being taken advantage of. All right.
It goes deep.
Exactly. So, because if anything, again, those guys typically are not looking for the women who are much more open, loving, positive, and all that kind of stuff.
And I don't really know if women know how deep it goes, because I've heard women say things like, hey, I got a cold heart. I don't have no feelings. Just in casual conversation.
What the hell?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Hold on.
Yeah. Right. Thinking this protects themselves, like from not getting taken advantage of. Right. Even though we know, obviously know that's not true. I've also and women are doing this in their friend groups. The ones that have the lower self-esteem, what they'll do is they'll really like a guy, and they'll hype the guy up for the friend that they think would fit better because their self-esteem is so low.
Mm-hmm.
So really, they're really interested in the guy. But they'll say, hey, you know what? This guy, he's so great, but he's really great for you.
Yeah.
That's because that's really is happening within friend groups for young, because we get all the messages, right? So I know what's happening, right? And it's just other things that women, I don't think they know they're communicating this energy that they're giving off, where it's just clear desperation. The friends know it, the people that they dated in the past know it, potentially interested guys know it, and you're essentially low hanging fruit to be done with however the guy wants to do.
You want me to tell you the number one way, especially me and my
savage days.
My savage days. The number one way that a guy can test you to know your level of desperation is he will put you in a situation where you have to act now and put pressure on you. So you might hit her up late as hell at night. And I'll be busy. I'm finally giving you a shot. Hey, look, I got some time. It's 11 p.m. I need you to come through. And the woman that's just very desperate, she's going to jump at whatever opportunity she has because she really, really, really wants to see you.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to do things she's going to be answering the phone extra late. She's going to be coming over extra late. She might bring you some food at random times.
But let me just say this real quick, because I don't want the women to get something confused. This is true when the guy is not pouring into you and treating you a certain kind of way.
Oh yeah,
consistently.
this early on. Exactly.
You
That's
know
what
what I'm
that
saying?
is.
Because I want them to understand there's nothing wrong with being that accommodating to the man who's accommodating
Who's
you
balling.
Exactly.
and
That's
who's
different.
pouring into you.
100%.
But when he's treating you like an afterthought, and then when he calls, you jumping at his every moment, every call, and then he's back to ignoring you, whatever. Yeah, that there we go. So I just want them to make sure they understand that difference.
Thank you for that clarity. Yeah, I'm talking about the savage who ain't got you a damn sandwich.
Yeah.
Right.
And he hitting you up at 11 p.m.
And when you over there, he don't want to talk about nothing. He not trying to go in depth with you. He just trying to get straight to the sex. Turn on the movie, sex in 5 minutes.
Or even if he does go depth, the real depth is gonna go here. That's the real depth.
Right, that's deep.
All right. We actually got a couple people still back here that we're gonna take care of.
And we're gonna take care of the super chats too, but we'll bring one more person up real quick.
Yes, we're gonna bring somebody up over here. We have man Emily looked like she been patiently back here. Emily, what's up with you? I like the way you sitting down patiently waiting back here. What's up, Emily?
Oh, this that multicultural we're talking about. What's up, Emily?
Good evening. How are you guys?
We're doing well.
I'm blessed. Emily, can you please start off by giving us your age, your location, and then your question?
I'm 40. I'm in California. What was the third?
Your question.
Yeah.
So my question, to simplify it, is how do you pass through feelings of avoidance when you want to show up for a man that you're first getting to know and provide that high energy that you guys were mentioning earlier?
That high interest. That's a great question.
Did you get the question?
So how do you move past the fear of avoidance?
Feelings of avoidance.
Okay.
Is this well, that's pretty much what we addressed just a little while ago, right? Like you're pretty much asking, when you say feeling of avoidance, you're saying you're afraid to be rejected or be vulnerable to him?
What I notice is, like, when I'm first meeting a guy, I have an initial, I can hang out, I can show the interest, and then I will get waves of avoidance, like, or feelings of like being like paralysis or something, in terms of like how to move forward in the connection.
Oh, okay. So the issue is you becoming avoidant, not them becoming avoidant.
Correct.
Okay. So this is stemming from something deeper that has not been healed and addressed. And so we got to get to the root of why you have developed this fear of avoidance. What is triggering you? What is causing you to fall back like that? It may be past romantic relationships. It may be something that started in childhood. I think no matter where it started, healing has to be about taking a holistic approach to where we address all our past hurts and issues, because they all feed into each other one way or another. We may not realize it, but they do. So I think the key for you is you recognizing this is a pattern for you. We need to take a step back and go through that healing process. And like, I have a book, Love After Heartbreak. It breaks the whole thing down. And I would want you to just follow those steps, because once we can resolve that, I think that's how you'll be able to move past it. Because even if I gave you some like tips and tricks on how to cope with that in the moment and manage it, it doesn't really solve it. You might be able to overcome it in that first wave, but then I guarantee there's going to be a second wave and a third wave, because you're not actually resolving the root issue. So we got to get to the bottom of it, and that way you won't have to worry about having this fear anymore.
Emily, thank you so much for your question, okay?
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Emily.
Much love.
Man. So we got something coming in. Shout out to Yali. Shout out to, man, Yali, I just cannot wait to meet you. It's going to be very exciting, especially when we have our first event in the ATL. Yali says predators are real. Facts. Found a guy I went to school with, has a hit list. Oh my God, I remember people had those. A hit list of women he wants to conquer. He seeks the ones who are in a vulnerable state. Relationship issues / divorces. It's disgusting.
I'm going to be honest. That's another thing y'all ladies got to stop doing, all right? Stop posting them damn relationship problem quotes on your stories. You're letting us know all the
oh, that's recent.
Damn it.
that y'all experiencing.
Reeks desperation.
It lets a man know that y'all are in such a hurt place, that you're also single or dealing with somebody that's on the rocks. It communicates so much. You really make yourself a victim.
And that and all of these lifestyle photos. You got a bunch of lifestyle photos with the quote after it. It just is like, yo, you
level up, sis.
Right.
Yeah, right. Like leave
Right.
him sit. Like,
Right.
come on now. Just let's not.
Because the man you want is not going to be attracted to that. Only the man that you don't want is going to be attracted to that. That's the only one. Seriously.
That's a big fact. In fact, we got a couple more super chats. Let's run through those real quick.
Yeah, shout out to Aquarian 231990. It's a young one right here. She says, how can a man heal from his past trauma from being cheated on by an ex? Because like Usher said, I ain't paying for their mistakes, LOL. First off, is it even possible to heal from cheating for a man? Is that possible?
Yeah, it's possible.
Wow.
And I want to make something very clear.
Wait, you say he said that with a lot of passion. You heard that?
Hell yeah, and I'll say it again with a lot of passion.
I ain't trying
You
to
can tell
try.
he was cheating in his past.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Well, this person has been cheated on, right?
Yeah, you can heal from that. You can
Wow.
heal from anything, everything. Listen, there's some
Beautiful.
people who feel like healing is this never-ending journey. You never fully heal. I absolutely disagree. I respectfully disagree. You can fully heal from things, but you have to be there's that word again, intentional about the healing process. What a lot of people do is when they say I healed, they mean I took time off from relationships.
Yeah.
When they say I healed, they mean, oh, I focused more on self-love. But focusing on more on self-love when you haven't properly healed is like saying, I'm going to start eating good, but I've been eating bad for the last 20 years of my life. Yes, you're going to get some benefit, but that bad stuff is still affecting your body. You're not getting the full power of the now new approach that you're taking. So it is possible. And I think for a man who's been cheated on, the process is the same for everybody. It's going to be going through those steps. It's going to be addressing those issues, getting things off your chest. It's about learning to not internalize what people do. Like I really strive to not take things personal, because I know that even when someone verbally attacks me or whatever, there's something going on with them. It reminds me one time, this was like so long ago, but when I was starting off doing this, I had this one girl who she messaged me, because I guess she read one of my blog articles and she was pissed about what I said in the blog article. So the whole time she's emailing me, she's just cursing me out and she's just coming at me hard. But I literally prayed before every response, because my initial reaction was, I'm gonna curse her back out. Like, you ain't gonna talk to me like that. But I said, no, let me pray. We talk to God. God calmed me down. All right, cool. And I just kept responding in a positive, loving manner. By like the 5th email, she completely changed. And all of a sudden now she loves me and she wants me to help her. Like, and I had to in that moment. I'm not saying it's everyone's responsibility to work through all of that with somebody, but for me, that's what I was expected to do at that time by God. And it was a great example of how people are so caught up in their own feelings and their own emotions and their own hurt, and they don't even realize how they're passing that on to somebody else. All right. And they cannot see the impact they're having. But going back to cheating, I think that, a lot of dudes, they internalize it. And one of the big mistakes that people make with cheating in general is that they project it onto the whole gender that cheated on them.
Right.
Now it's, I can't trust women. No, it was that woman. And this is an unpopular opinion, but I have to say it because it's real. I think we have to stop with the whole, anyone who's been cheated on, you have nothing to do with it. It's always on the cheater and that's it. And the reason why we have to stop that is because some people are not realizing the cycle they have put themselves in, because they're not learning the lesson they need to learn. So one quick example is, I had a dude one time, true story, email me, and he was swearing off Christian women, right?
Wow.
He was like, I ain't dating Christian women no more. They're the devil, blah, 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 blah. I was like, what happened? He said his fiance cheated on him with his baby mother's boyfriend.
Damn.
All right. His fiance
Now, that's
cheated on him
savage.
with his baby
my
mother's boyfriend.
She was a Christian?
Yes. She was not. I said, okay, how many times have you been cheated on before? Every relationship, 4 times total. All right. Now, we could either say, oh, women just can't be trusted, they're just this. But no, if there's a pattern, there's something we're missing here. So I kept digging. What I found out was he was a man who felt as long as he's paying the bills, his job is done. He had no understanding of pouring into a woman emotionally or showing up in any other way. It's just, I'll give you a roof over your head, I pay these bills, my job is done. And so what happens is these women are drawn in because here's this provider's going to take care of me, and they try to work with it, but then they realize he can't give them nothing else, which creates a void. And it doesn't make the cheating okay, but understand if you don't correct that,
you
will stay in this cycle. So sometimes it's how we're choosing people. Sometimes it's the way we show up. And yes, are there situations that are completely outside of anything that we could have done differently? Yeah, that might be true. But we have to be willing to learn from everything rather than just holding on to the pain and hurt of it and then projecting that pain and hurt and those bad behaviors onto everyone else we date.
Great game.
Man.
Great game.
First of all, cheated on by your fiance, well, your baby mom's
boyfriend.
Boyfriend.
What was he doing around? I'm sure he was just taking care of his kid, I guess, and he just kind of like
might have been a small neighborhood. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's some real country bumpkin stuff.
That is truly savage.
It is.
You know what? And while we actually here, I want to ask you this because I had a conversation recently that inspired this question, because I know a lot of ladies from the emails and the DMs we receive enough. It's not that they don't necessarily get interest from guys, but they don't necessarily get interest from guys that they're attracted to.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what your thought on this is. Because some of these guys...
we almost got into a heated debate about this.
Yeah, we almost got into a heated debate about this.
Okay.
One. Because I'm like, yo, the guy's not fit. The guy might not be physically attracted to this brother, but he's got a good heart, right? He's probably financially stable.
Okay.
He wants a marriage.
Uh-huh.
He's ready to take on this responsibility.
Okay.
But he might not necessarily be the guy that's really, getting that thing right.
Now this is what I told him. I said, that is not the situation. A woman will date. I've seen women date plenty of men that are not physically attractive to the general public. So when I was thinking it has to be they're not attracted, but it's not because of the physical.
Okay, cool. So, and then I said, and that's where we was at.
Right.
I said, okay, cool. That's literally what we said in the argument. I said, okay, cool. Energetically, right? The brother may be lacking confidence. Okay, now we know women love confidence.
Yeah,
that's not a question. But shit, at some point you be like, yo, I'm gonna go ahead and tie the knot with this guy who's working on his confidence. It's not all the way there, but he got all this together. Let me just relax. I know I like the bravado, but that's not what I have in this guy. Should I just go ahead and get this husband real quick?
No, hell no.
Why is that?
Absolutely not. So, okay, let's examine a few layers here. One, let's start with the attraction part. There's nothing wrong with being with someone who does not look attractive to other people as long as you are attracted to them. But I can never encourage a woman to go be with a man because he's a good man when she's not attracted to him. Whatever plays into her lack of attraction or doesn't allow her to be attracted should not be ignored. The reason why, you have to think about, a lot of people look at relationships very in the moment and not over the long term. All right. I'm invested in what works in the long run, what is going to sustain people to have. And when we say success, some people only quantify success by how long you stay together. Longevity does not equal success. There are people who've been together 40, 50 years, were miserable for 45 of those years. I'm not counting that as success. I'm saying, no, it's a healthy, happy relationship. Of course, nobody's perfect, but for the most part, healthy, happy relationship. If she's not attracted to him, consider this one common issue. Her ability to be intimate with him will be severely hindered. What is one of the biggest complaints you hear from married men? Lack of intimacy. All right. And what happens is it starts there and it starts to domino into other things. So now it starts with she's not really attracted to him. And naturally, when we are not as attracted to someone, we don't even realize you may not speak to them the same way you speak to that person that you are attracted to. You may not treat them the exact same way. You may think you do, but I'm telling you, there's a difference. But then it goes into, okay, now you're being not as intimate with him as he likes. Now he starts to complain and have an attitude. Now, because of his attitude, you have another issue that's now been created with him. And it just keeps going from there. Now he says some foul stuff one day out of frustration. Now she shuts down because she feels like she can't open up to her partner anymore because he's insensitive. And we're just going down, and it's just snowballing. So when I've sat down with couples and they're complaining about the current issue, I'm like, no, we got to backtrack. We got to, what they call that term? I forgot what it is, but we got to go in reverse and see everything that was leading up to this, because it's not just about what's happening here. So I can't tell a woman, yo, be with a man you're not attracted to.
Right.
Now, in regards to, okay, if she's attracted to him, but he lacks confidence, I still cannot tell her to move forward and marry him without that being corrected first.
Wow.
Because understand, marriage will magnify. It will either magnify the good or it will magnify the bad, but it's going to magnify and intensify whatever's there. If you leave unresolved issues lingering, you think it's going to magically fix itself once you get married? Some people get lucky. Most people do not. All right? So if the issue is you need him to be more confident, I would much rather that couple get premarital counseling or him get counseling, him address those issues and start to correct it or show enough progress first before we get married. But to ignore it, because what will happen is, for many people, what is the incentive once I've already reached what my goal is? So basically, this is why it happens on both sides. You'll have a woman who, let's just say, she hasn't been intimate with her boyfriend, even in the boyfriend-girlfriend stage, all right? And he feels like, all right, well, you know what? She's been wanting to get married. If I just marry her, it's going to get fixed. Marries her, and it gets worse. Because, listen, if anything, her getting married was part of her motivation to even try to be more intimate with you. Now that she's married to you, she wants her kids, and she's just trying to live her life as best as she can. All right. For that man, if let's say it's not confidence, let's say it's financial instability. If his goal is to be married and you marry him first, and building himself up financially is something that he doesn't even like to have to do, because that's the thing we have to understand. Are we asking something out of them that is just not who they are? All right. If this dude just doesn't have the level of ambition, let's say, because that's a common one. He doesn't have the level of ambition that you really want him to have. It may just not be in him. And now you marry him thinking that, okay, well, it'll get better in time. No, it won't. Because now so you know how many men are driven by obtaining a woman? So once they obtain a woman, they're like, I ain't doing nothing else. I'm good. I'm getting some intimacy. I'm getting some food on the table. I'm fine. He doesn't care to put in the work. So to me, you've got to let them work on that first. And I think it's not just about achieving the end result of being more confident, being financially stable. It's the growth that occurs through having to go through that process.
Right.
Okay. So that's why when I tell women, like, I don't think a man has to be rich before he needs to be in a relationship or a woman can marry him, but he needs to find stability. Because it's not just the idea of him having enough money. It's him learning how to get up in that morning, go to work, find a job, the character it takes to apply himself, the character it takes to be consistent in something. All right, there are dudes out there who can't even hold down a job. And then the woman marries him while he never learned how to hold down a job, and he doesn't ever get it together. But if he learns how to find stability, he will develop certain characteristics that now would allow them to have greater success or a greater chance of success in a marriage. So with that said, I think anything that is causing a disconnect needs to be addressed first before you get married to that person.
I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's great counsel.
That makes sense. And first, for the brothers, Nur Muhammad said that too. He said, being in a relationship is way harder than being single. So you better be good at being single first.
That's a big fact.
Before, if you're not good at being single, you ain't got no business being in a relationship. And guys, just so you know, if y'all just came in here, we are giving away 2 incredible books here, signed autograph copies from Stephan Speaks. All you got to go ahead and do is click the link in the description, guys. We have a giveaway link in there. It's very short. Submit your name in there so we can go ahead and make sure we get this out to you.
Very, very easy, guys. We got some super chats coming in, and I want to give a shout out to Latasha Husband. Shout out to Latasha. Shout out to Jacqueline Thompson for becoming initiates. And we got some questions in here. I just don't want to take them yet until we take a couple of more calls. So let's get somebody else up real quick.
We got people backstage.
And Stephan, what kind of time we got? We got your time? You good?
Go ahead.
Okay, let's do it.
We got them tonight, fellas. All right, let's get it's Lady T backstage coming to the stage here. Lady T, hold on.
And we got to get. I still want to see Yvonne and Daniela get up in here at some point too. Lady T, what's up?
Hold on. I think I got this little Metro PCS laptop. You might have to bring Lady T up in the back. Add Lady T to the stage.
Okay,
man.
Lady T. What show? How you doing, Lady T?
I'm good. I'm good. I was just sitting here trying to figure out how I'm going to ask you all this question.
Well, we're ready, Lady T. First, you got to
wait.
give us your age, your location, and then hit us with that question you got.
So I'm 39 and I'm in the DMV area.
Okay,
and
nice.
My question is, I actually just got out of a relationship maybe last week. And it was an interesting segue because Stephan was talking about being in a relationship with somebody that wasn't ready, and another female talked about whether or not her partner was scapegoating with the marriage question. Basically, the straw that broke the camel's back was the topic of marriage. We're both divorcees, and he stated to me that he didn't want to be married for the next 10 years. Now, mind you, I'm 39 and this man is 10 years older than me. So that struck me in a way that I'm like, okay, I'm with someone that's not ready for marriage. And that's something that I would like in the near future, hopefully. So we broke up after that statement. But we ended up getting back together because he came back into my life saying that he wanted to build a real relationship. And the topic of marriage has always been comments like marriage is overrated, etc. So basically, it came to a head, to make the long story short, and we ended up breaking up. And it was around the topic of our relationship growing and moving forward. A lot of the excuses he would use is his son, because he has a young son. And he would use that as an excuse to, not move forward in the relationship. But my question is basically like, is that an actual scapegoat or a real reason to say that you're not in a place to be married again? Someone that's been divorced for about 3 years now.
So my initial thought was that his resistance to marriage probably has more to do with his past experience in marriage, and how now a lot of men are looking at marriage as a liability. Not saying I agree with that, but that's how a lot of men are looking at it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he digests a lot of content from online that pushes that kind of a narrative. So to me, I think, I'm not saying that the son part doesn't have some level of validity to it. I personally do not think that is the whole story behind his resistance to marriage. Okay. And I think that regardless, if he's unable to fully convey what his problems or concerns are, and he's not willing to address it, then it's just not a fixable situation if that's what you desire. I think that's the main thing. We have to be honest about what we want and what we will be truly happy with, and if you're not going to have peace in this relationship without being able to move forward into marriage, and he's not giving any inclination that he's willing to go in that direction, then you did the right thing by, ending the situation.
Yeah.
Lady T, thank you so much for coming up on here and asking that question, okay?
That's tough. And see, Lady T, she walked away the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But those connections, they hard to really break the bond. So she entertained it again. We should have asked. I'm pretty sure sex had a lot to do with that as well.
Possibly. I mean, it's not even just sex. Also, it's you don't want to start all over. And when there's someone that's familiar and you're already at that age or that place in life where you're hoping for that commitment, and there probably was some hope on her end that maybe he changed his mind because she expressed to him what she wanted initially. He knew where she stood. So for him to, because she said he came back.
Right.
So for him to come back, she probably thought for a second, okay, well, maybe he's willing to actually explore the marriage thing. And then he came back talking the same talk. And then she realized, even though there's probably a part of her that, wants to make things work with him as far as be with him, she knows they're not on the same page.
So let me ask you a follow-up real quick to this, because you got Lady T, who gave this guy another opportunity after she walked away. And then you got the ladies on the opposite end of the spectrum, which is like, I never spin the block. So where's the balance in that? I mean, because Lady T, she tried it again, it didn't work. So should she have adopted the I don't spin the block mentality, or is there some kind of fine line between those two?
I think the I don't spin the block mentality can be very unhealthy. It unhealthy when you're just using it as an overarching ideology to hold on to no matter what, because that means you're not allowing yourself to explore each individual situation as it should be. So yes, there's going to be tons of times, probably the majority of the times, where you should not be spinning the block, right? But I have seen people who weren't able to get it right the first time, not because they were not good for each other, but maybe they were immature. Maybe there was outside interference. There was other things at play that threw it off. And then were able to reconcile or reunite later in life and have the most amazing relationship. And it would be horrible if someone would have told them, oh, no, never spin the block. No, you have to evaluate it for what it is. Was the breakup even something that was fixable? Has the issues been corrected? Was there ever really a connection there? You know, like there's so many questions to ask. But yes, in most cases, it won't apply, but it doesn't mean it never applies.
Wow.
Yo, shout out to Andre Hatcher, because he went ahead and dropped the super chat. He's got the chat kind of bumping right now.
Really? Shout out to Dre. I'm going to pull that up.
He asked a question here that's got the ladies in here really confessing.
Are you?
And I want to actually make this a poll.
Okay. And
let's make this a poll. Ladies, are you your type's type?
Interesting. Shout out to Dre.
The ladies
critical
are really in here confessing, and I'm actually seeing a lot of no's. This is actually a very honest session in here, because I'm seeing that it's ladies just being honest that the man that they're typically attracted to is not really attracted to them. What does that mean? Stephan, help me out with that. Like, is that unhealthy if you're typically attracted to a man that's just generally not attracted back to you? What is that? Does that say, something that's unhealthy about the standards that you have?
So my mind doesn't go to it being unhealthy because you're attracted to that kind of man. My concern is that if you know the kind of woman he's attracted to, and you're unwilling to embrace certain aspects of that, why are we still holding on to that type of individual? So let's put it in a different way. You could love Rolls Royces, okay? That's the car that you really want. But Rolls Royce requires a certain level of payment and maintenance. If you are unwilling to have to make that kind of payment and maintenance, why are you still over here waiting for a Rolls Royce? You see what I'm saying? Like now, on the flip side, if you are passionate about that Rolls Royce and being able to make that payment and maintenance it's not taking you out of who you truly are. It's just you having to work on certain aspects of you to become a better version of you. Then why aren't we doing that? See, my concern with people, both men and women, is that they want this type of person, but they don't want to be the type of person that person wants.
Right.
All right. And instead, will take issue with the type of person that person wants. Like I always say, people are mad because the people they want are requiring what they are unwilling or unable to give.
Damn.
All right. And to me, that's like, and we should not be complaining about, like, I'm going to use men for a second. Like, I hate when I hear men complaining about women who want a man who's financially stable or can provide for them. It's like, there are tons of women out there who will go 50-50 with you. Right. I'm not saying I agree with it or that's what they should be doing, but there's tons out there who will say money is not an issue. But instead of you trying to embrace them. You want to complain and try to talk the woman down from wanting that financial
Who
stability.
the hell do you think you are?
Exactly. It's like, no, either become that man who can get that type of woman that you want, or go be with the tribe that fits into your lifestyle.
You know what's crazy? So this is like, it's like a perfect situation that happened. We were hanging out on the Beltline, and ran into some young ladies I know, and they, we having a conversation. Ryan, want to have fun? What can we do? All this, right? So I'm like, yo, let's. I got, we got our card game came out. Tell them about the card game. I'm like, let's go play Harley and Love, right? So we pile up, because I'm that's where I live, right off there, right? So we pile up. Is me, Delano, and it's like, was it like 3 or 4 ladies? So, and I'm only doing this for Delano, by the way, because he's young. It's not for me. He's young. I'm like, let's have a good time. So we're having a good time. We pull out the cards, and the question that comes up, one of the prompts is, what is a deal breaker for you? And everybody's going through, and everybody seems kind of reasonable with their deal breakers. Like, oh yeah, I agree with that. And so they get to me, and I'm like, man, I really don't want to answer this question because I know it's gonna piss some people off. And I'm like, yo, one of my deal breakers is that my woman, she has to know how to cook, and she not just know how to cook, she has to have the desire to want to cook.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell you, man, they went flat in on me, like. It's like their whole opinion of who I was changed. That was such a bad deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Why does a woman have to cook? Why can't you do this? What about this option? What about that option? What if she doesn't feel like? It's like, and I'm like, yo, why can't I have my deal breaker?
Mm-hmm.
If you can't damn cook, why is it an issue that this is what I want? And it was literally, that was their mindset.
Yeah.
Their mindset is, if I can't do it, you have to be wrong for desiring this.
Exactly. And that's what's unhealthy.
So all of them will just instantly disqualify.
Yeah. That to me is the problem. And what's crazy is when people are mad about the desires of their types, and those desires are things that people have wanted since the beginning of time. Like, so that's one of the reasons why I don't like hearing men complain about the women wanting financial stability, because I'm like, bruh, women have seeked that out since the beginning of time.
Absolutely.
There's nothing new about this. Why are we still complaining about this? On the flip side, I'll hear women complain about men being too visual, wanting a woman that looks too good. It's like, this has been like this forever. Like, why? Again, there's nothing wrong if you disagree with it. Right? But to take such an issue or to attack that person or all these different things and to try to convince them that they're wrong, it's like, come on. Just go where you and what you're prepared to give is going to be celebrated. Or work on the things that would allow you to qualify for the type that you truly desire.
Mm-hmm.
But to complain is just to stay in this gray area that gets you nowhere.
Look at this comment right here. This is the exact attitude. Shout out to Hey You There, one of our lovely initiates. She says, can you build a house? See what I'm saying? Well, I got to do something. Well, I got to know how to do something. And plus, first off, that's what my woman wants. I'm going to point her to Bob the builder, because that is not me. I'm not building no house.
Yeah, we figured out how to get this paper to hire the guy who can build a house.
Exactly. But that's funny, man.
That is truly hilarious. We got a couple more super chats in there. Do you want to get to them now?
Well, no, I want to bring one of the callers up, at least one more. I know
Let's
really
do one more.
wearing Stephan down, but
he's
a black belt at this.
More that we're bringing up here.
Let's bring on Yvonne real quick. She's been waiting for a while. Yvonne,
what's popping?
Hey, it's so good to be on the show. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you. Great energy. Go ahead and give us your age, your location.
See,
and your
that's
question.
that high interest. She's highly interested in being on the show.
Oh, yeah.
I've been driving on, like, ready to go and ready to pull over just the show. But my name, or you guys know my name, Yvonne. I'm 36. I live in Cuero, Texas, which is Texas. No one's probably ever heard of it.
Okay.
My question for you guys is, I've been told a couple of times that, like, I come off as like I'm in a rush. I don't think that I'm really in a rush, but I'm just ready to weed out the people who are not for me. So I'm pretty direct, and I'm like, hey, I want marriage and I want kids. That's what I see in my future. And I pretty much lay it out up front. And I think that's possibly why. So is there like maybe a better approach, or is that probably maybe a good thing? Like that they're just kind of like heading out the door right away?
Well, so I think there's nothing wrong with asking questions and laying things out very early, because I do think that, again, the guy who is serious is not going to be turned off by that. However, I do find many situations where women are not mindful of the energy that they're giving behind those questions. So what I think may be happening in your situation is there may be an energy of anxiousness that they pick up on, and it's that energy that's making them feel like you're in a rush. So it's like, okay, one woman can ask a man, what do you want, as far as relationship is concerned? And she can ask in a very calm, cool, positive manner, and the guy just answer it. Another woman can ask the same exact question, but it might be with that energy of, I ain't playing games with you, so you better let me know what you're doing right now. You see what I'm saying? And that energy makes like, whoa, like you coming off a little strong. It's not that your question is the problem, it's your energy that's the problem. You see what I'm saying? And so I do think that you just have to now kind of do some self-evaluation as far as, okay, is your energy at a calm place? I'm gonna be honest with you. I get the feeling that you are very anxious from within. Okay.
Likewise.
And there is this kind of a fear there, and you're trying to, like you said, move as quickly as possible, but you everything can move as quickly as it needs to without you having that energy behind it. And you've got to address what is creating that anxious energy. You have to find more peace in it. Now, I don't know if you're a believer, but like to me, praying gives me peace. Anytime I'm feeling anxious about something, is praying and trusting that, okay, if I'm doing this with kind of God's guidance, everything will move the way it needs to move. I don't have to be in a rush, but that doesn't mean things will not be exposed or revealed to me quickly. All right. But the anxiousness is an unsettledness. The anxiousness is a fear. The anxiousness is a worry. All right. And that's the thing. You're worried while asking these questions and in this process, where you need to be at a place of, okay, I can ask this question. I can discover what I'm dealing with, and I'm cool with whichever way this goes, because at the end of the day, I'm just trying to receive what's best for me anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Makes sense? That makes sense?
Makes a lot of sense. And I know that I do have some anxious around dating. I've honestly been single for 13 years.
Woo!
I get it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And I think a lot of ladies have, because I've told women that like, yo, this is like too urgent. It's like a fire, and I think a lot of ladies do have issue with that, because the intent is to just communicate kind of what's going on and where they're at, but it can come off really, really rush. Extra. What you laughing at?
I realized.
What you laughing at over there?
When she said she's been single for 13 years, I didn't mean to say.
No, but that's 13 years of singleness, and you want a relationship. That's tough.
No.
But I have to, let me say this though. We don't got enough time to dive all into it. But when people tell me they've been single for that long, it typically means there was something emotionally traumatic that happened that led to that long of a layoff. And so now they're trying to jump back into the dating space, never having truly healed from whatever that emotional trauma was, whatever that disappointment and hurt was. And that's what's contributing to the anxiousness and that energy that you have. It's like I said earlier about how people will say, well, I've been healing, and they think because they took 5, 10, 13 years off from dating, that meant I healed. No. Did you release what was within you from what you experienced? So what I would encourage you to do now is, all right, you want to get back into dating, or you're back into it. Let's heal. And I know it's scary, but we have to revisit that thing that happened 13 years ago, right? And again, address everything before that as well, because healing is not just one relationship. It's everything that you've been through, that you've been hurt from.
Hey, that's why, look, Love After Heartbreak Volume 1, you might need this joint. Go ahead and sign up in that giveaway link below.
I think that's a very relevant question. Great job.
So thank you for the cards, guys. I really love them. I've used them a couple of times. I'm halfway through the deck with the last person that I've been talking to, and it's.
Oh, you halfway through the deck. You should know who this brother is. What's up with this brother? Is he promising or what?
He's inconsistent. So I think it's time to have the conversation. We've talked long enough that I feel he deserves a conversation before I just ghost him. But yeah, He's inconsistent.
I get that.
I get it.
Who raised you?
It's over with for him. All right.
Man, Yvonne coming with it. I just thought that was just such a relevant question.
What's that?
Her question.
Oh,
It was
no,
just really
no,
good.
that was a great question. Yvonne, thank you so much for coming up here and asking that question.
Yeah.
All right.
Because because that concern just generally makes me apprehensive about dating a woman in a certain age group.
What's that?
Just that urgency that they have. It's like it really is. But when I think about the women who presented themselves that way, they did have high anxiety.
Yeah.
They really did have high anxiety.
Man, anxiety. Let me tell you something. Because I typically just like the kind of cool tempered women anyway. Like the women that's because my life is kind of fast and I'm online, it's hectic, it's a bunch of people, I'm sharing energies. So I like the cool tempered. So me and anxiety with women, it never goes well.
Yeah.
It's never because I don't find that for personally as a place of peace. And
It's hectic.
I've dated a woman that had really, I'm talking about on the higher ends of anxiety. So I know what that's like. And you really have to put yourself in it because it can absolutely be managed, by the way. Like anxiety is not a life sentence. It can truly be managed, but you got to be very intentional about that.
It's confusing. They're doing things that they think is providing this level of value. They're overestimating like the time that you spent together and kind of what that might mean to you. They're very concerned about if you want to move forward. Them, it's like, I'm really just generally trying to get to know you. But there's so much pressure that comes with that anxiety where a guy could like you, but he's just like, this is too much.
Yeah, but we also got to be real. Like a lot of times, like as men, we don't need a long time to at least know if there's some serious potential here. And when we're dating a woman and we still need time to figure out if we see potential, we're not being honest with ourselves that we don't see the potential.
Wow.
And that we're just hoping that either it materializes or there's aspects about her that we do like and enjoy, so we want to hold on to it. But if we're months in, year in, and we're still not convinced, we got to accept what it is. It's not there.
Now that's reasonable.
Yeah.
But I think the urgency is like the first month, the first few weeks.
Even in the first month, I would argue, like, again, I don't think men, I'm not saying a man knows that he flat out wants to marry this woman in a month, but he knows if there's potential to marry this woman. He knows if she fits, if she at least qualifies for that tier. Because let's be real, as men, we tend to put women in the tiers. All right.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like,
100%.
all right, this is wifey potential.
material.
This is just, I just want to hang out, have fun. This is just, straight casual, nothing more. Like, So to me, it's like, and I think she has to be honest with herself sometimes that sometimes the anxiousness is because deep inside she knows it's not here either.
Wow.
And she's afraid to face that reality. And she's hoping for you to either make things clearer or easier for her. There's a lot of different layers to it, but I think people are overlooking what it really means when we're having either that second guessing, that anxiety, or that we're not sure what we want here.
Hey,
That's a great point.
in the words of my girl BB, Steph is Stephan tonight.
Yeah. And listen, the chat is jumping, by the way. We got 1,500 people in the chat. We got super chats coming in. We got conversations happening in the chat. I don't know. I kind of want to keep you at least for a little bit. But
First
let's
of all,
just take
BB,
this.
you need to become a member too. You've been in here way too long now to be a member. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yes, and let's just take this final one because Daniela, she's just been in there. Just real quick. Daniela, you got to come on real quick, Daniela. You put it in work. Hey.
She made it.
What's your age, your location, and your question?
My name's Daniela. I'm 24 years old. My question is, how do I...
Hold on, wait. Is that like you got like you wrote it down? That's like notes that you've been taking?
Yeah, I'm going.
Wow. Wow.
Man, see that's and I just told Ryan that we need to release some Harley initiated journals.
Should we drop the journals, guys?
Let us know in the chat, guys, because it looks like you need a journal right now. Because that paper look a little raggedy. I ain't gonna lie.
She got the composition book, the me
Oh,
book. Yeah,
look, we got you. Don't worry, it's coming. But go ahead.
Okay, so I've been reflecting a lot on my situationships and whatever, and I picked up on my pattern. And how do I know, like, when I broke the pattern, if I'm not in the dating? Like, can I know, or do I have to be in a relationship to know if I broke.
Oh, okay. So basically the pattern, well, if I may ask, what is the pattern that you notice with yourself?
I start the relationship, I get asked out to be their girlfriend, and then I run away and I sabotage the whole thing because I'm not worthy of the whatever. Like,
Okay. All right. So let me ask you right now, are you worthy of love and commitment? Okay.
yeah,
Boom. You know, right there. Listen, that pause said everything that we need to hear. So we don't need you to be in a relationship to answer that question, because just now that it says it. There's still some kind of blockage there. There's still something that's getting in the way of you feeling like you truly deserve it. All right.
so can I just cut you off right there?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because I've been reflecting on it, and I think it stems off from my dad, something within my dad, father figure, and he has like a on and off, like kind of manipulative way with me, where he like praises me and he's like, doing the dad part of it, and then there was the times where he was drunk and then the like opposite came through, where he was calling me names and telling me this and that. So it's a father. So what kind of advice do you have within that? I don't know, like, is it my dad or is it actually me?
Well, there clearly is an impact that was made from your father's behavior. So your dad is definitely a part of what we need to heal from in this situation. Now, I think there's very likely other pieces to the puzzle that may need to be added, because naturally in life, when we haven't healed and we go on to involve ourselves in other relationships, well, new hurts occur, new disappointments occur, new moments that can have us second guessing ourselves and questioning our worthiness occurs. So there's probably more to it than just your father, but your father sounds like he is the root of this issue. All right. So we have to go through that healing process involving your father. Like we mentioned before with the Love After Heartbreak book, it's going to involve writing things out, getting things off your chest, right? Really revisiting all of that stuff. And forgiveness is going to be a part of that process as well, And so that to me is what you should be doing, and you will see how different you feel when you finally go through the healing process and really release this from your spirit once and for all right. And then when the next time someone asks you, are you worthy of love and a commitment, when you can quickly answer yes, then all right, boom, we're ready to go. Now let's jump back into actually doing something. And then if something new comes about that maybe we missed something that needs to be resolved, all right, then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But we clearly need to get to a point where you can at least truly and confidently say you deserve that love.
Okay. So when it comes to forgiveness, I feel like, do I have to speak to him, or is it just an internal thing for me?
So it's not an automatic that you have to speak to him. Now, I'll say this. I'll give you a little bit about the healing process. There is a letter portion to it. There is 2 drafts of the letter, and there's a second draft. And again, the book breaks down exactly how to do everything. The second draft, in majority of cases, I'm going to say send the letter to the person. All right. So it may not be that you have to verbally speak to them, but I do believe that things need to be expressed to that individual in many cases. Right. Now, I always tell people, you ask God if you should send a letter, so let God give you the final say so. But I'm a big believer that, especially when it's a parent, the letter needs to be sent, because the parent doesn't fully understand the impact they have had. All right. Because again, there is something, I guarantee you, if we were to examine your father's life, there is unresolved trauma in his life. Okay. Yeah. And it's just a continuous cycle that goes on and on. So yes, there may be a portion where you're going to have to express yourself to him, and that may lead to a verbal conversation, you know what I'm saying? And then more can be explored or expressed. But the main thing is you getting things off of your chest and fully expressing how you feel.
I see. Okay.
Ooh, I was
writing to him because he also doesn't like the one-on-one communications. And I've written him so many letters, I just don't know which one. I'm like, what should I even like give it to him? Because like I don't want to hurt his feelings and make him feel like he's not I don't know, something. Like I don't want to attack him, you know.
Well, and that's the reason why there's two drafts, two versions of the letter, because there's one version of the letter, and this is something that people overlook. You need a version where you let out your raw emotion. Meaning, I don't care if you curse him out. I don't care if you wish death on him. I don't care what evil, nasty thing came out of you, because if it's within you, it needs to come out. And you've got to just release it. And so a lot of times when we write letters to our parents or to loved ones, we're trying to find the right words and we're trying to be politically correct with them and not offend. But then that doesn't allow us to detox the raw emotion, the raw energy that's trapped inside of our bodies, inside of our spirits. So version number one or draft number one is where you let the whole thing out raw. And then the second version is where you can clean things up. But cleaning things up does not mean not saying things that won't possibly hurt him. It's just how you say it. Okay? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Because while we're so afraid of hurting them, one, you're hurting yourself by not allowing yourself to express these things. And then two, it might be that hard truth that sets them free, that opens their eyes in a way that it's never happened for them before. And for many people, that's the reason why verbal conversations don't typically work well, because when we're speaking verbally, people can get very defensive, they tune out, they deflect, whatever the case may be. So it doesn't really resonate and sit with them. But in a letter, people read to process and understand. And because of that, it hits them on a deeper level. And therefore, it can create a much greater impact and really change the situation. But again, let me say this in closing. If you do the letter and he reads it, how he receives it, how he reacts to it, that's not really the goal here, because the goal is your healing and you releasing what you need to release. And whatever happens after that will happen, but at least you will now be free from this thing that's been weighing on you all these years.
Daniela, please let us know how this journey goes for you. Just send us an email at info@hardlyinitiated.com, because I really want to get a follow-up. But I'm really glad that you came up here and opened up about this. Trust me, you
And to
are
be
not
so
the
aware
only person.
and reflective. She really putting in some work.
Absolutely. So
Got a lot more digging.
Much love to you, Daniela, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, Daniela. Man, so the super chats is going crazy. I got to close out the poll.
Send your final super chats in, guys, because we're about to get this thing wrapped up.
And y'all literally want to ask Stephan every question in the book, which is really good.
Yes.
But are you your type's type? 75% of people say, yeah, I'm my type's type.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna say that. So I got you a little choked up on that one. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe that.
I'm skeptical too. I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
a little skeptical on that one there,
I'm
but
very
you
skeptical.
know, I'm gonna let y'all have that one.
We're gonna roll with it. Shout out to Trudy showing love, sending over those super chats. Trudy says, Love After Heartbreak is a great book and very useful healing tool.
There you
God
go.
bless you for gifting you to writing it. Absolutely, guys. We are giving this book away. The link is in the bio. Should be pinned to the chat in the comments everywhere.
Sign up.
All you got to do is complete the form. Probably takes 30 seconds, and you will have your opportunity to win, because we're getting ready to announce the winners just shortly. So, Trudy, we appreciate you for giving that testimony. Shout out to this one. I want to ask this one. We've been sitting on this one for a little bit. Brittany Miner. She's going to send this in twice. Shout out to Brittany. She says, Stephan, what are some helpful tips for women to get out of the friend zone? I have a lot of guy friends, but I want my husband, not another friend. Sent it over again. She says, I emotionally connect with men well. Again, I got a lot of guy friends, but I want a husband. Tips for women getting out the friend zone. Stephan, what's the deal with that?
Oh, man.
I want to preface this by saying everything I say is with love. I'm never trying to offend or hurt anyone's feelings.
Yep.
I'm reading your mind. I'm reading your mind right now.
I got to answer my mind too.
There we go. Let me see if we're on the same page.
We can only help people by being honest.
Yes.
Typically, if not damn near always, when a woman is always being friend zoned, there is something off with the attraction.
That's it.
Plain and simple.
That's it.
And for a lot of women, what may be contributing to a lack of attraction can be various things. Again, in being honest, one of the most common ones I have come across is weight.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I remember one time a client said to me, once I kind of broke things down to her because she didn't understand why her and her male friend couldn't seem to get together. And she said to me, she's like, and I kind of explained this whole attraction thing. And she said, dang, you know, one time he said to me, you are the perfect woman if you would just lose 30 pounds.
Wow. He said that.
Yeah.
That was bold.
Now, again, I know that a lot of women that, you know, sounds horrible.
Right.
And it's hurtful, but for the sake of us speaking truth to what's going on and what some men are actually thinking, that's a very real statement.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a tough pill to swallow, but I do think for a woman, if you are constantly being friend zoned, I do think if that is something that you really want to change and you're able to take constructive criticism, and again, I don't want anyone trying to look like something that they're not. I don't want anyone to go to unhealthy lengths to achieve a certain look or attraction level or whatever.
Yep.
But I do think that if ultimately an adjustment to your style, because even that can have an impact too. And what I mean is, like, I'll never forget this was back in like not elementary. What's the one after elementary school?
Middle school.
Middle school. All right. I remember in middle school, there used to be this real nerdy girl. Glasses, wear these old grandma dresses, look just so plain Jane and whatever. And no dude was looking her way. And I remember once, like the summer before graduating, we all show up to the bus and this new girl walks on the bus and everybody's like, who is this? And it was the same chick. It was, let me not say chick. I don't like when I say
same young lady.
Same young lady, yes. But she lost the glasses, she changed the hairstyle, she changed the way she dressed, and it made the biggest difference. She didn't change anything else other than her style. And she had dudes flocking to her. All right. So all that to say, like, I do think if you're that woman that's always getting friend zoned, I think a great thing to do is asking your male friends and saying, listen, I'm willing to hear you out. I won't be upset. Let me know what you feel I can improve upon when it comes to my physical attraction.
Yes.
And again, if there's things that they say that you are just not comfortable with, no one is saying you have to embrace that. But if there's certain things that would be helpful to you, I think it'll be a game changer for a lot of people that happens to.
Stephan, let me tell you, this is why I rock with you, because you keep it 1,000. That's it.
That's one of the hardest messages to give. I mean, really anybody.
Yeah.
Because to tell them, because that's a whole nother kind of work that you got to work on. And it's probably something that somebody probably been avoiding.
Yes, but see, notice he didn't say how your face look. He said wait.
And actually, that's actually the good news, because the good news is you have a level of control,
exactly,
over that. So that's just really what it is.
And I think people also underestimate the power of getting in shape and what it even does to your face in many cases. You know what I'm saying? And let's be real. This isn't just a woman issue. There are men out there who get nothing but friend zone.
Nothing,
and
but
it's
friend zone.
because attraction.
They're not attracted.
And for some of them, it's a weight issue. For some of them, it's a style issue. For some of them, it's a confidence issue. Like, there's different layers to what may be getting in the way, but fixing those things can fix this. Because the beautiful thing is, if you are able to emotionally connect with people very easily and very well, you already have one half of the battle conquered. If you can now just get the attraction piece on point, you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's a great way to spend your singleness, is getting your health and fitness improved. It's a great way.
And even just, again, I really want to emphasize style, because I think sometimes, and I see this happen with a lot of women, like, they're always asking other women for their opinion on how they look, what they should wear, hairstyle, which is fine, right? But if you're trying to attract men, find out what men think. Like, I tell men all the time, yo, find out what a woman thinks you should be wearing. Get their opinion, because you're trying to attract them. When you go buy cologne, why are you asking a dude how the cologne smells? You know what I'm saying? Ask a woman how it smells on you. That's going to work out in your favor way more. So I think for a lot of women, when we're trying to find that style that's effective for you, because again, some people, man, I hope nobody gets mad at this, but I feel like I have to say it. You know how some women feel like men don't want women with natural hair. right?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Right.
And some women just believe men want weaves or whatever. And I think what women don't consider is there are some men who don't want natural. There are some men who, don't want whatever. But then there's a huge segment of men that just want what looks good on you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one woman could wear a natural hairstyle and she looks amazing. Another woman could wear that exact same hairstyle and it's like, that don't work for you.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
And it's not because it's natural. It's just that the style does not look good on you.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't get caught up in these general ideas of what looks good. Find out the style that brings out your best, that works for you, that accentuates your positive, whether that be hairstyle, the clothes that you wear, things of that nature. And one thing about finding what works is that even if you're a little hesitant to it, once you start getting those compliments and positive results, you start liking it a lot more.
You do.
You know what I'm saying?
It does change things,
man.
Fellas, I can personal testimony. I'm letting you know. I used to be 200 pounds fat on a 5'9" frame. Then I went and got skinny from running. That was the thing. It was better.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went and got a little bit of muscle, and I'm like, wow, I was walking around like I think I was just tell Ty, like, damn, man, women just try to feel me, be around me.
Yeah.
Then I got swole. That's like now if God can add about 3 to 4 more inches on my height, then we would really be in there. But it just goes to show you, like, the thing is, as I was improving my fitness, my confidence and self-esteem was also improving. Mm-hmm. So it was a certain type of woman I even began to look for. Even the women, Tysean would tell you, if you go back and look at the catalog of women I was dating, it was directly associated with my self-esteem.
Yeah.
I was 200 pounds, they was too.
Mm.
Now I'm fit. The women I date are too.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a lot to do, you improving yourself has a tremendous amount to do with what you attract.
Absolutely.
Oh man, you just released your height in the chat. The chat's having a good time with this.
Well, first off, listen,
we gotta get that 200-pound before picture, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that. Well, see, if I get the after, then they'll be talking about I'm doing thirst traps and everything because I got a 6-pack. I just flex it. I'm flexing in a series at the same time. But no, Tysean I can really attest to this. And 5'9" is that short?
I mean, I don't even know what the average height for men is.
I thought 5'7" was average.
I mean, you're asking, is it short in real life or to women? That's two different questions.
That's a
this thing, and you got to let me know this, Stephan. Why do when we meet people in person, Tysean can also testify to this. Literally, at least every other woman. Matter of fact, I would say every 2 out of 3 women say, "Man, I thought you were shorter." They all say the same thing.
Based off of them knowing what your height was, or based off of them
just watching the show? Just watching the show.
Yeah,
I guess we don't stand up.
It's tricky. I mean, I don't know if you
Stephan
guys
gonna keep it real. He gonna keep it real.
Keep it real. Why would they say that?
No, I think it's really tricky because, like, even for me, I can see women online. I'll see one picture, swear this woman must be 5'10". Turns out she's 5'2". I see another picture, swear this person is 5'2". They 5'8". Like, it's so hard sometimes, and depending on what images people see of you, it could, they have a perceived height that doesn't actually fit, or they could just come up to that conclusion based off of how you talk, or, they feel like you act like a short guy, you know what I'm saying? Napoleon complex, whatever.
Right. That's probably what it is. Ryan is a misogynist. He got to be 5'6".
Exactly.
He got to be 5'5".
Yeah.
Small head, big beard.
Right.
There's all these different things that can contribute to why they might think you were
That's
shorter.
funny, man. Let's finish up them super chats, y'all, so we can get this. We're about to announce the giveaway winners, guys. So go ahead. Last couple people get up in there so we can get those announced.
Big facts. Shout out to Courtney Cleveland for joining the Initiate family. Shout out to Shauna for sending over a couple super chats. She says, the lack of attraction is hard to appreciate. It's important when you are waiting until marriage for sex. Okay, cool. Shauna.
Hold on. I told you to get that Reading Rainbow sound from Ryan's
fault. I blame Shauna for that. Shauna, send us over another one. She's dope. She says, I am in a relationship with a good man, but I feel awkward, and because he is white, and I always saw myself settling down with a black man. How do I get over this?
Wow.
Now this is trouble in paradise, right?
Have you ever heard this before?
This is not good.
Hit me with this?
I've never been asked that question directly, but I have spoken to people, yes, that and just in general, not as like a relationship coach, just people in passing who may have expressed that concern, not actually being in it, but like not knowing how they would handle dating someone who wasn't Black and if they would be comfortable with it. And so to me, again, I think, for me, I'm a firm believer in, if the love is real, if the connection is real, I'm all for it. And I think that if you are genuinely attracted to this person, regardless of what their race is, then you got to find peace in that. You know what I'm saying? And I think the reason why we don't find peace a lot of times is because we're worried about other people's opinions and other people's perceptions rather than what actually makes us happy. Now, if this is really about the fact that maybe she's not as attracted to the guy, that's a different issue. Then it's like, okay, is the problem really that you're dating a white man, or is it that you're dating a man that you're just not that attracted to? You feel me? Because if you were really that attracted to him and excited about him, maybe this would be at least less of a concern and less of an issue. But I think, with everything that we've talked about, it's like, it's always about getting to the root. Why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
Why am I uncomfortable? Is it my own perceptions? Is it because I still truly desire someone of my own race? Is it because of outside people's opinions and things of that nature? What is really driving my discomfort? And then let me properly address that and see if that can be resolved.
I just spoke to a young lady and she said, yo, Ty, all my sisters are married to white men. She just got a divorce, and this is her second divorce, 2 with Black men. And she's like, my sisters are looking at me like, come on, sis, what you waiting on?
Wow.
And she like, look, I can't, she's like, I can't date a white man. It's just, I can't do it. She said she started dating a white man about 8 months ago. The relationship was going well, but she said, one, she couldn't conjure up the energy to have sex with him.
She wasn't as attracted.
And she also stated that with her having 2 Black sons, she said she could not imagine having a white man in the house with her 2 Black sons. She thought that was absolute confusion. Now, she could just be making all of this up, like you said, asking those whys. But that's what she stated. But is that valid? If that is her concerns in particular, are those valid concerns?
Well, I think, listen, I'm a firm believer that people's feelings matter. And whether people agree with them or not, you can't ignore them because they're there. You like basically trying to convince her that she should not be bothered by this doesn't change her feeling that she's bothered by it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to address it for what it is. I will say, though, I honestly believe that if the attraction was there and was strong, the son issue would not be as much of an issue. Not to say that there is no validity to it. But again, I think that what we don't realize is when one thing is off, we start over analyzing and dissecting everything else. All right. We become way more particular about other issues when the main fundamental things, attraction, connection, is not really there. But when attraction and connection is there, we become more flexible with other things.
That's true.
All right. Even with how they look. Like, I'm a firm believer. Tons of people have a certain type, right? Might be height, body frame, all that type of stuff. And to the general public, they will stick to that type. So if they don't have a connection and you don't have those things, they're not going to be as willing to do it. But if they experience a connection with you, and maybe you're 2 inches shorter, maybe you're not as, packing in certain areas as they would like, they're more flexible. You know what I'm saying? Because, and again, I'm not saying everything can be overcome just because there's a connection. I'm just saying that people become a little bit less, again, particular about things. So to me, her issue with the sons thing, I think that is partially being impacted by the simple fact that there isn't a strong enough foundation between her and this man. And so now it gives her more reason to be concerned about having a white man there with her Black sons.
Wow.
That makes a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and get to the next one.
We're going to keep rolling. We got a bunch of them too. Let me see.
Woo.
Shout out to Lisa McKinnis. Lisa's been going crazy tonight. She says, to the young lady, yes, may God give you the words to say to dad. For your healing, it might be hard and you might not get him to respond, but you will be freed. Shout out to Lisa for the encouraging words to that young lady who called in. Shout out to Sunshine and Beauty. Man, y'all really want to ask Stephan 1,000 questions. I love this. I
we
just
might
love this.
we might not be able to get to everything, but we're gonna
mean,
try our best.
It's like,
we're
no,
gonna try.
They're really sending in questions. These are all good too. Sunshine and Beauty, she says, in regards to wishing negative things upon someone in the healing letter, I'm afraid to do so because some of my wishes have come true. Advice.
Well, okay, remember,
wow,
that was acceptable in the first draft of the letter. We're not staying with wishing bad things on them, but if that's how you feel, we want to get that out of your system. So what I want people to understand is like, emotions are energy, okay? And when you don't release that energy and you suppress it, you're trapping it within your body. And this is what will cause now emotion or stress in the body. And the body knows stress as just stress. It doesn't know the difference between you're lifting heavy weight stress, you're worried about this issue stress, you can't find a job stress. It's all stress to the body. And stress creates inflammation, and inflammation creates all kinds of diseases. A lot of people are sick because they haven't released emotional trauma and the negative energy that they've been holding on to. Plain and simple. So we want to release that energy. We want to release that from our spirit. But then there is a second draft to where, yes, we have to reconcile these negative feelings of wishing bad on someone, because at the end of the day, it's not about wishing bad on anybody. And we have to learn that we can't continue this cycle, because that's just another extension of hurt people wanting to hurt people, or hurt people are hurting people. So, and the reason why we wish bad is because, again, we're internalizing and taking things very personal. And part of going through the healing process is understanding these things are not personal. They are an extension of another hurt person who has not resolved their traumas and issues. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying?
Big facts.
There you have it.
So, man, it's going crazy right now. Shout out to Miss Ross Speaks with a testimony. She says, I lost it 100 pounds while dating. It definitely changed the dating pool for me. It works, ladies, but also heal your inner to match your outer.
Absolutely.
Man, first of all, it's hard as hell to lose 100 pounds. Big shout out to you. That's some dedication right there.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Here goes another one which I think is really good. All of them are good. Shout out to Ariel Taylor. She says, because this is what we was talking about how women are expressing desire. She says, my boyfriend loves surprising me with flowers and chocolate often. Do men like mini gift surprises too? I actually want to take this one. Now, this is the thing. Don't surprise me with no chocolate. Surprise me with a meal. That's what I like. But I do think that sometimes women can consider these things like desirable for a man, because I actually had a couple of young ladies to kind of do these different things. But for me, you let me know, me personally, if I don't like gifts, right? Because I just think it's just so many other ways that, that I would like a woman to show care for me that's outside of gifts. But if I do get a gift, I just prefer it to be that one or two things that the woman really knows I need, that I just didn't buy. That could be, she could see I had a hole in my sock. She can see, I always pour my tea in plastic cups, so she get me a little mug. But the random like chocolates and flowers and like, I'm just not interested in none of that. Yeah. It's just like no value to me.
I think it's important for every woman you got to learn your man. You know what I'm saying? Because every man is different. There might be a dude out there that would love some chocolates and some small gifts. I'm like you. I don't really care for that type of stuff. To me, showing me affection is enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is good. Greeting me with kisses, hugs, all that stuff, initiating intimacy. That's my thing. You don't need to ever buy me anything.
Right.
So to me, it just depends on the man. So I would encourage her to like talk to your man and ask him, what are some things you would like? And if he says, nah, baby, I don't need anything, believe him. Like, I think the problem is women sometimes don't take men at their word.
Right.
So it's almost like she'll ask a man, oh, what do you want for your birthday? And dude might be like, man,
nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Let's just watch a movie, eat some food, get it on the bedroom. That's it. And then she's like, I'm gonna go buy him a wallet.
Right.
like she comes up with something she still wants to do, but it's like, that's not what he wants. And then when he doesn't act all excited about it, you feel some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? How didn't you take my gesture in a better way? I didn't ask for no wallet. I didn't ask for no surprise party. I didn't ask for none of these things. Just talk to us, ask us, and take us on. When you are asking us for what we want, we are willing to give that answer if you're going to be willing to fulfill those things.
9 times out of 10, it does not require money. I actually I think this happened like, a couple I won't say when it happened. So a young lady hit me up. A young lady hit
The
me
hell was
that? I'm like, let me not share time and dates, but young lady hit me up. She says, hey, I'm cooking XYZ. She says, you want me to bring you over a plate? I literally looked at the text and I got really excited about that. Right. And I told her, I'm like, I'm not gonna be available till 9:30. She's like, okay, cool. Which is kind of late. So I'm like, cool. First thing I do is look up. I tell Tysean, I'm like, yo, bro, we can work all night tonight. Because I knew that made me really happy because now I'm able to work late. I don't got to worry about cooking a meal. And as soon as I get done, I get to go home to a meal and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that didn't require much out of what she was doing.
Yeah.
It's not like she had to put some kind of, few $100 investment into this project I got going. It's just very easy. Most of the things just don't require money.
Yeah.
Just knowing your guy.
Yeah.
That's all it requires.
That's it.
That's a fact. On to the next.
Okay,
we got for
we
him.
gonna wear Stephan out. Okay, let me see. Shout out to Aquarian.
So you could pick. We just need to read them. So it's like you pick the ones we gonna answer, but I want to make sure we actually read my super chats for my people. But you can pick the ones we gonna answer.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. We read our super chats. We don't get to answer all of them, but we try. We definitely try, guys.
Aquarian says, do you believe the man should love the woman more in order for a relationship to last? If so, how can a woman increase her chances?
Aquarian be having some interesting questions.
No, I do not believe that. I think that's a very unhealthy approach and mindset that people are passing down to others. I think you have to look at it from the perspective of if you can quantify that he loves you more, that means you're not in love with him. Because no one who is in love with someone can ever feel like they love me more. If anything, you will feel like it's equal or you will feel like I love them more because you only know what you feel. All right. So when you can say, nah, they love me more than I love them, you're not really into them like that. Which from that point on, that relationship is more than likely going to fail at some point. All right. It's hard to sustain it when that's imbalanced like that. So we should never strive for that. We should just strive for being with the person we have a genuine connection with, a genuine love that we are reciprocating to each other. That's it. Anything else is kind of playing a game and it's a setup for disaster.
Got it.
Okay. Keep it rolling. This is a good one. This is a good one. Wait a minute. They all the same color, kind of throwing me off. This is a good one. Shout out to Lakia McDaniel. I like this one.
Yeah.
Is needing, great profile pic too. Is needing a few days to yourself a red flag? A guy I dated for 4 months ended things when I told him I needed to shut down after a few stressful days.
I don't think it's a red flag, so to speak. I think that one, if she was transparent with him and told him in advance, I need a couple of days to shut down. To be honest with you, I'm a little concerned that he would cut her off for that when she was being open with him. It's one thing if she just ghosted him for a few days. That's different. But to let him know in advance, I just need a few days to shut down, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. However, I do think, though I don't call it a red flag, I do think that if the goal is to be in a long-term relationship or marriage, we do have to learn how to work through things together. We do have to learn. And even with that, I think different people will have different metrics for how that looks. So some people may have the rule of we never go to sleep mad at each other. You know what I'm saying? For some people, it might be like, all right, we don't have to talk about the issue for a couple of days, but at this point, we have to talk about it. So you got to discuss what the framework is on how we're going to communicate and deal with these types of problems. But I do feel like I think him cutting her off may have been him feeling like she's using this as an excuse. Like you're trying to back away from me for something else, for some other reason, and I'm not going to play this game with you, so I'm out. Like, I don't think it was him looking at it as, oh, you really just need a couple of days to de-stress, decompress from things, and I have such an issue with that I'm going to break up with you.
That's
over
a great point.
You know,
that seems a little too petty, a little too shallow.
Yeah,
a little bit too shallow.
Something else is going on.
So
there.
right now you can get that.
Keeping it rolling. I'm actually getting the winners ready. We got Montana B. And guys, I'm dropping that link one more time. I'm actually getting ready to announce all 4 winners of this giveaway. Montana B says, what makes a woman intimidating and why does it affect how men pursue the woman?
All right, so I want to start off by saying we have to sometimes understand there is intimidating and there is a man don't want to deal with it, which is 2 different things. All right, so sometimes if a woman comes across very standoffish, very emotionally detached, very hardened, right? It's not that the man is intimidated. It's why would I want to entertain that? Why would I want to engage with a woman who's not giving any kind of energy that says I can come talk to her, that she's interested?
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So that's different. Now, is there intimidation? Absolutely. And that intimidation is going to depend on where that man is. So for some men, you looking too good is intimidating.
That is a fact.
Okay.
Wow.
Because
That
it's
is a
like, yo,
fact.
I don't know if I can get a bag of girl like that. I don't know if I can handle being with her. Oh, she gets too much attention. Like that in itself is intimidating. Her success can be intimidating to a guy who doesn't have much going on for himself. If she carries herself a certain kind of way, let's say she's very classy, right? Maybe comes across a little bougie, but not in a bad way. And he's on a completely other end of the spectrum. That may be intimidating to him. So I think there's so many different layers to what may intimidate a man. And I think what a woman has to focus on is just, are you exuding positive, feminine, loving energy? Like if you're exuding positive energy, then if a man's intimidated, that's his problem. There's nothing you can do about that. Exactly.
It ain't gonna work.
That's his issue. But a lot of women, again, they don't realize they have this wall up that's so high that it's just repelling men. Not intimidating, but repelling. And you got to recognize when that's the problem at hand.
Thank you for making that. That is a really good difference, because a lot of times you think that's not intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've put yourself in a position where you look a certain way, like you said, and your energy's a certain way, you dress a certain way, and you intimidating guys that just are afraid of just a well-dressed, well-spoken, good-looking woman, you need to keep intimidating them brothers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If that's the case, keep on doing it. But other than that, I'm gonna just go ahead and run through these last few guys. Look, we're not gonna get to these because I want to announce my giveaway winners, but I will go ahead and read these here. Should a high energy level be the same in the beginning as the relationship deepens? First, I'm gonna hit myself with it because I'm over here tripping too. I'm pulling a Ryan. All right, fellows. What's the best location to meet adult men as a seasoned woman? That is Shaka Aiken. And then I also have Soul and Luna Day Spa. Take a chance at dating my best friend.
So you having issues too then, huh?
He's the model for my ideal future husband. He's the model for my ideal future husband. He sees me as his future wife. Take a chance or not?
Take a chance. Take a chance. Absolutely.
Take a chance?
Take a chance. I mean, my thing is this. Ideal husband, he sees her as a future wife. Why are we not taking advantage of this opportunity here? People dream of having a situation like this. And I understand, because you've been friends, it's scary and you don't want to lose your friends if things don't work out. But I feel like if you guys feel that deeply about each other right now, your ability to sustain a true friendship is going to deteriorate over time. Because if I'm a man that has to come into your life, I'm going to pick up on there's something going on with you and your friend over here.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? And it's going to cause problems. So to me, it's like, at this point, if the feelings are there, do it. Do it.
And first of all, for the fact that you already attracted to this brother, that relationship ain't pure, baby. That's like somebody just need to bust a move on that one. So, okay. Hey, a matter of fact, and let me know how that goes. info@hardlyinitiated.com. Let us know how that goes. And guys, we are approaching that time. I told y'all from the top of the show, Stephan came in here and blessed us with 4 autographed copies of the book. We got He Who Finds a Wife, a man's guide to finding the woman and love he desires. Okay. And then I also have in here Love After Heartbreak Volume 1. And look, I ain't even lying to you. We got the John Hancock in there from my man Stephan Speaks. So we're going to go ahead and get these over to you for everyone that filled out that giveaway. Guys, I don't care if you're watching the replay. It's still great. We take care. We send you some really dope things if you fill it out. So fill it out regardless. But for my people, Ryan, do we have those winners?
Absolutely. Hit the drum roll for me. So tonight's 4 winners. First, we have Courtney Cleveland. Shout out to Courtney.
There we go.
We got Daryl. Daryl D. Lee. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Number 3, we got Yolandra Barber. Okay. And number 4, Yolandra. That's silly. You crazy. And we got number 4, we got Mia Wood.
There we go.
Yes. So I'm gonna email you all guys between tonight and early tomorrow. All you got to do is send back your shipping address, and we're gonna get. I mean, these things are autographed from Stephan Speaks himself, and we're gonna get those out to you right away.
We love it. All we ask is that, guys, when y'all receive these things, y'all just make sure you take a photo of it, send it over into us. Whether it's your Harley and Love decks, it's the giveaway, prizes that we send you guys. Send us over the photos. We love seeing that. You could send us at info Harley Initiated DM. However you can get to Harley Initiated, just send it over to us because we love to feature you guys on the show.
That's the thing, guys. We're featuring you on the emails, the show, and we're getting ready to start featuring our initiates on Facebook and Instagram as well. Guys, we're really piping up. We're really piping up this industry.
Yeah, we are absolutely piping up, man. And we piping up because we just did our first ever live show. Stephan Speaks' first ever live show here on YouTube, which I'm very, very proud of. And I want to let my brother pub too, man, because you got some really incredible things going on. I know we giving away 2 books here. You know, if you did not win the books, go ahead and cop them on Amazon, y'all. These are really quick reads. Y'all see how my brother breaks things down. You one of the most practical guys that I enjoy here speak and give advice because it's always sound advice. Always advice that I will also nod my head to and pretty much agree with because it's just all around solid. But what else can my people potentially get for you besides these 2 books that they need to know about?
Just check out the YouTube, Stephan Speaks. They can go to my store, stephanspeakshop.com. At the stores, they can sign up for coaching. I got a membership program. For the ladies right now, eventually I'll have something for the men. Events coming up, touring with Dr. Bobby Price. So we'll be doing some events later this year, the Time for Change tour. So all that can be found at my shop, stephanspeakshop.com.
There you have it, family. Well, man, listen, first of all, thank you, brother, for coming up here.
Thank you, man.
And spending time with us in the family. We love you guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. We ask that you do not leave here without making sure you subscribe to the channel. For those of you who are always asking how you can contribute, we give you every way right here. I pulled it up on the screen here. Shout out to all my people who super chat. Shout out to all my subscribers. And for those of you who always ask, where can I cash app? Where can I send the PayPal? Here it is right here on the screen. So much love to all my people that's consistently in here in the community chat and giving value, sharing game. I love everybody in the community in the chat, especially those with those badges next to you guys. Those are real supporters. And you guys also know the Harley and Love cards are right here in the description for you as well. Your absolute best conversation starters are ready and geared up for you guys in the description as well. So listen, blessings to you guys. We got to get up out of here. So y'all already know, Hardly Initiated, we are out.